Good evening. Welcome. We're running the 3D Mark 99 demo stuff in the background here. I realized I hadn't watched this in forever, so that's extremely nostalgic for me anyway. So welcome everyone. Alright, we got a group here. So welcome Revenant, 3DFX Voodoo show up earlier on Super Mario. But even Nico and Dollperfect and Ted. Revenant, of course, like I already mentioned. As I started messing around with this stuff, I mean, boy, this era, the 1998, I just remember running this demo over and over and the benchmarks to try and, like, you know, get the maximum performance and everything. Welcome back, Tyler Jane. Long time no see. Good evening, Tech Left Behind and Pixel. This is the, yeah, the specs are, yes, the specs, yes. I'm not sure on those yet, but yes, for those wondering, yes, I'm doing glasses, and I've had the old ones for probably 15 years, so I went to the standard nerd glasses now, but we'll see. It's hard when you make that change. For those people that wear glasses, when you make a change to your spectacles, as it were, it takes a while getting used to it, so we'll see if they stick or not, but yes, specs upgraded. So, welcome to Voodoo Goodness. It's like I mentioned, running the 3D Mark 99. I just ran this all the time. I mean, I think I had a TNT around this time, and we'll get to that card eventually. Good evening, Remastered. Yeah, that's that is not this card tonight. Let's just say that we're not running RTX on. But yes, there are certain comparisons to Gordon Freeman for sure with these spectacles, as it were. They were larger than I expected, but here we are. But yeah, we are of course running on the Banshee tonight. That is the topic. GPU June is full swing going on. Videos are coming out at a fast pace. I did watch yours, Tech Left Behind. That was really good. I enjoy that a lot. It's fun that you focus on cards that are kind of less covered, if you will, which is always fascinating because everyone loves the top end cards, but you don't talk about the lower end cards, so the cards that kind of got swept away a lot. So, Indian Joseph, already got a crew here. GPU June brings out all the people, so yeah. I'm glad you're back, Tyler Jane. It's been a while. Everyone's welcome to stop and drop in or out, whatever is needed, of course, but. So yeah, for GPU June then, going again, we have Nathan here, Pixel Pipes. Thank you for arranging this again. You mean Mike Boy? Thank you for arranging that this year again. There's a lot of GPU goodness coming out already. I'm sure the videos will keep coming fast and heavy now, so... but, of course, I do streaming, so then there's, what is it, 5 Thursdays this month here now, so expect at least 4 live stream centered off some sort of retro GPU, right? So the first one on docket is the Voodoo Banshee. Good evening, Bruce. Welcome. The Voodoo Banshee is a fascinating card. We'll delve into that more, and then anyone who knows more about the card is welcome to fill in. But what you're running on now, what you're seeing, and so we can start this demo over. Actually, you can see it from scratch here. No, run 800 by 600 because I'm daring like that. We're basically running on this card that you see here. This is the Gigabyte Ga 630, aka the 3DFX Voodoo Banshee, and it's the highest clocked from the factory Banshee card that was made. And it just runs at a higher clock in general, and I'm not sure if they just use, you know, better components, whatever it might be. It runs really, really well. And as I've been testing it, the thing that struck me is the image quality and the general performance for 1998. Again, keeping in mind what it is, right? People like to rag on the Banshee cards as like this, you know, stepchild or whatever. But taken in a vacuum in 1998, or against the competition of TNT and everything, which is probably the primary competitor, it's just like, it's a really good card. Like, if you put it compared to Voodoo 3, the Voodoo 3 is like Banshee, except like better, to simplify it, right? But the Banshee is a really good card, and we'll see the games we play tonight. Like, it commands a respectable performance and a respectable card. Yes, that does definitely have a fan, so let's keep it a little cool. Good evening, Eric there. So, yeah, the box art is a little interesting. Interesting enough, so we'll do a little quick Voodoo history, and again, people can jump in. I'm not the expert of this thing, but the Banshee would have been the last card that board partners were able to make, because by the time the Voodoo 3 came around, they had bought the STB manufacturing plant, and then 3DFX said, like, no, we're going to make all the cards ourselves. So all the Voodoo 3s, all of them, were made by 3DFX themselves. And they did not allow board partners to make cards. But this was allowed. So you've probably seen the ESIA, was it? Or ELSA, whatever that manufacturer is, a typical Banshee one. But then Gigabyte made this one, like, just hold my beer, we're going to make the most powerful Banshee out there. And sure enough. I think I managed to touch the computer. If you watch me on, follow me on Twitter, the computer is under the desk. We do have the action cam back in action. Down here, you can't see it. The computer is basically sitting in an open air design, as it were. And it's sitting basically on a box. It's open. I don't have a case, so I need to be careful. I don't basically kick the computer. Yeah, it is really a good looking card. I really haven't been enjoying the card as I've been testing with it. Because again, take it in the context of 1998. You have the TNT, you know, you have the Matrix Millennium G200 or something. I mean, it's not really competition on that sense. It's a really solid card. Like, yeah, the Voodoo 3 will pretty much outperform it or be a better all-rounder card in most respects. But for 1998, this is a fantastic card, and especially this one. How I came to get this card is actually interesting because people at work know, like, hey, we have old stuff. Check with Rick first before we throw it away. And a coworker of mine came up to me with a box, and he said, like, this box was in my shed. And it had some LAN cards, you know, old PCI stuff, and in there was this card as well. And he said, like, I was going to throw this away. And I'm like, no, I'm going to make Rick throw it away. And I'm glad he said that. So, yes, there was some junk in there I tossed. But out of that box came this card for free then, which, again, is the highest clock Banshee. So it is a lovely card. I love the design, love the look of it, and also the performance that it provides. It's a really cool card, so I'm very happy to have it. And it will get used. I'm planning a build around this card. Right now, as you see right below, we're running on a P2350, so this is a slot 1 motherboard, I can't remember, but it's got the 440BX, you know, V chipset, so correct, yes, the best GPU is a free GPU. And it is, I'm planning a build around it for this one, but for in this case here, we're running on then the P2350, which is period accurate, and then the Aural Vortex 2 sound card, which is the Turtle Beach one. So the clocks are interesting because the stock Banshee, at least that I've found, is 100-100 memory and the GPU. But on this card is 110 for the core and 130 for the actual memory. And we can tweak that if we want to. We'll take a look at the driver settings and everything. But if just from the factory that had a higher clock, which then helped compensate for the fact that the Banshee is missing the second texture mapping unit that the Voodoo 2 had. We're going to deep dive now. Nathan, feel free to fill in, but the Voodoo 2 had 2 TMUs that allowed it to basically render multiple layers in one sitting, or in one pass, if the game supported it. Well, the Banshee did not have that, but it was also a 2D/3D card that the Voodoo 2 was not, so... fascinating. Yeah, there we go. We're already learning something, the more you know. It is a fascinating card because it was a stepping stone, and the only other card that they made before that with 2D and 3D was the Voodoo Rush, but that was an outsourced 2D chipset, right, that they crammed on there. This was all in-house for NVIDIA 3FX, so it is really the first true 3FX 2D/3D card that they made, which makes it, you know, extra special, and also the fact that this particular model is quite a performer for what it is. So I did take the liberty earlier here and run our benchmark. I think we can look at the result browser. Now, this is spinning disk, so be mindful of that when you consider the speeds that we're getting here on doing stuff. That's what I'm finding, above all, is that the spinning disk, I actually defragged it, is maybe the bottleneck on here. I'm not sure if the disk is going out. It's fine. It's fine. It plays games. It's fine. But if we get stuttering, may not attribute that to the spinning disk here. So I did run a 3 benchmark 99 here earlier with this default settings at 640 by 480. And, actually 800 by 600, sorry, 16-bit color. And the final score was 2,820 3D marks. I don't have anything in relation to that, but I guess you can look up a TNT, Banshee, Voodoo 3, Pentium 2 300 to Pentium 2 400-ish range, you know, K62, that range, to get an idea of what the performance would be. And it plays games just fine. If you keep in mind that, you know, we're a little spoiled with 60 FPS on a lot of stuff. This is not a 60 FPS card across the board. Some games run that fast, but not many. Oh my goodness. Yeah, a full SCSI hard drive with full speed would be very, very loud. I'm already listening right now to the open bench setup down under the desk here with the fans running, and it's pretty noisy, actually. I had it up on a desk earlier, but it was so noisy it was hard to record anything, so. But that's the machine. It is, you know, working and everything. And sure, we'll change the settings to database. Oh, let's see. We will do 3D Mark. There we go. That's one of those things you could, but you shouldn't, right? Because the excessive read-write operations on SSD is going to not be good for it. But I did run a complete full defrag on this. So we have a nice little background here to I found online on the forum. So what we're doing with this is we're using a custom driver, actually, from... I can put a link in the description of this video when it's done, because I don't have it handy now, but it's from an Italian 3D effects website. If you have searched for anything 3D effects, chances are you found this website. And they have a custom driver compilation, which is the last official driver, which is 1.04, something like that, from 3dfx. But it has the 3dfx tools baked in, which was not from the factory. That was not included in the last one. When I installed these drivers, the clock was actually at 100 and 100, and I was able to crank this up to the posted one from the factory, keeping in mind that these drivers from Gigabyte would have had this automatically set, but for these reference drivers, that was not set, so I had to crank it up. Yeah, Nathan, if you have a Banshee, this driver set seems to work with what I assume is pretty much every Banshee card and gives you the full access to the whole shebang that you're used to seeing on the newer Voodoo cards. And that is really handy because you can make all the changes, like a disable Vsync, which is off. We'll see if the screen tearing is horrible. And a whole bunch of other settings and everything that I don't know what they mean. Oh. Yeah, that's the thing. When you get to some of these cards and some of the fan setups, it gets really loud. But you get a lot of extra information here. So we can see that we currently are using the Banshee is running at 128 and 110, which is the highest I can crank it here. By default, then, the settings were 100 and 100, which I believe at 100 is pretty much what all the other Banshees run at by stock. And then it's weird that Gigabyte came out then with what I'm assuming are just better components, able to crank the settings higher and be stable still. But it's really the fastest, as far as I know, the fastest card of the Banshee lineup that I'm aware of. So yeah, there we go. That's the latest versions. That's pretty much it from that. But the fact you can, mess with all the settings and, of course, overclock it even more. I'm not going to crank that. This is the posted speed that I'm aware of, at least, from the factory on this particular Banshee. And we could go higher with certain risks, but at least in my testing and running the full benchmark, it's been rock solid. Only problems I've had have been, like, game issues, not any problems directly related to the setup or machine. So it is a fascinating card. I would like to cover that in a video at some point and just make an in-depth video on this particular card, the actual Gigabyte Banshee, because it is a fascinating card, and I didn't know much about the Banshee except heard that, you know, like it was kind of a redheaded stepchild to 3dfx lineup, right? And maybe the Rush has that more, but it's a respectable card for 1998. So I have not tested the Gigabyte drivers at all, actually. I just wanted to get ready for the live stream, so I have not done a full performance comparison between the two. The 3D Mark that I ran there is the first one I have ran, period, which was run earlier today. I have not done a full performance analysis or anything, but if you want me to do in testing, let me know. I'd be happy to just let it run and figure that out. But I have not tested anything except the stock reference drivers, and I tried a custom driver that is from the same website that goes even deeper in the customization settings. I forget what it's called, but I think it's like a Mojo. Yeah, Xmojo Motion. That was not stable. It would crash and have problems with that. Games were not playing very nice. So this version then is basically a custom driver again, using reference driver with the 3dfx tools baked in. So this is the one I ran. I would probably recommend, at least from what I've seen so far. It runs very stable as of yet. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a crash tonight. We'll see. But yeah, if anyone knows any settings I should change, and triple buffering is off right now, I'm not sure if I should have that enabled. There are way too many settings in here, and sometimes I just want to play the games, and the games work fine. So I installed a small plethora of games. Evening, Sean. Welcome. Geek with social skills, as it were. Quite a crowd here. I knew 3dfx brings all the people out. You talk Glide, and everyone starts showing up. So On the docket, we have a selection of games of varying degree. I wanted to, of course, show Glide. And I think one of the things that I want to start with almost is GL Quake, because that's something associated with the Voodoo 1. And I think that the Banshee seems to have a bad rep, and the fact that it's a, stripped Voodoo 2. And in some regards, that is the case, right? It's missing the second TMU, or texture mapping unit, unless I said that wrong. So there are some drawbacks, but it has a higher clock to compensate, especially this particular Banshee then, which is running even faster. Yeah, it's a fun game. You will see. You walk around, it's a police walker, and it just blows stuff up. It's like a very... Thank you very much, Revenant. I appreciate the donation as always. Much appreciated. He's trying to guide me into buying a very, very expensive Holy Grail machine that is on eBay, which, boy, that is a tough sale because it is very, very expensive, but it is the first computer I had, basically. So he's trying to convince me. So I appreciate you working towards getting me there. Eating Pantheos, I have not used the Omega drivers. Now, on the Banshee, the only driver I've used is this one. I never had a Banshee. I never had an experience with it before this card, which I've had for a while. I've tested it a couple of times. This is the first time I have a machine complete, sitting on a box, built around it. So I have not tried using any beyond drivers that I have installed right now. So, but like I was going to say, the Banshee is a phenomenal card when you look at, especially some of the cards that are games that ran, on the Voodoo 1 and stuff. It's pretty compatible. Now, I have not tested everything. There's definitely some compatibility issues and everything, but it is a strong performer for especially some of those older games. So if we fire up a GL Quake and take a look, checking volume here, that's always the kicker with these things. Run at 800 by 600 right now, which seems to be the sweet spot for this card in general. Oops. Let me, I think I have a CD in the in the virtual drive, as it were, and it's playing that, which is basically Turok music. Yeah, we'll try that. You gotta have tools there, yeah. Yeah, very nice. So that's the thing. It seems like to me like it has a reputation here now for being like, oh, it's way slower than a Voodoo 2, and why would you ever use this card? I suspect that it's a lot louder there. But, I mean, looking at this here now, especially for this kind of stuff, it is a fine card. I mean, yes, a Voodoo 3 again, not to be crass to the Banshee or anything, but a Voodoo 3 is probably better in virtually every regard. It is the evolution of the Banshee card. Yeah, exactly. It uses CD audio, so it plays any music, and that was a Turok 2 sound from the ISO mounted. So, the fact that it can keep pace with the Voodoo 2 in a lot of games, and surpass it in some games, especially this clock version, which is higher than, or the ones that are not leveraging that. And I had a little trouble finding, I was wanting to check and see games that rely specifically on the second TMU, like which games utilize that. And I know Quake 3, I think, uses that, for example. It leverages the multiple TMUs, because I know Quake 3 will report how many TMUs you have installed. But in this case here, on a game like this, as far as I know, it doesn't really matter. So you can, you can have a fine experience, and it's not. Plus M look, gotta have that on. And I mean, it runs really, really, really well, because you're getting a higher clock than the Voodoo 2 would have had, and especially here, where just brute force performance helps. It runs. Good in-game take refuge, Dermot. It is just really a solid performer. I keep saying that, but I think the Banshee card feels like it's got a bad rep in the sense that it was very quickly overshadowed, right? It was seen, at least in my research, as kind of like the next step, right? It should be the most powerful card. But it was not more powerful usually than a Voodoo 2, and a Voodoo 2 SLI blows it out of the water. That is just way more powerful, way more horsepower than the Banshee has. So that kind of worked against it for max performance. However, I think the image quality and color palette and everything like that is really good. I've noticed above all, the colors are really good. Like everything seems to... It looks really good. That's basically the way I feel with the Banshee. Especially if you are playing games that are a little older, that aren't late 1998 or 1999 when the Voodoo 3, you know, was out and take care of business. It plays games really good. I won't play Quake that long because it's a well-known quantity. We've played it before. I believe so, yeah. There were several versions of the Banshee, I believe, that was used in arcade machines. 3FX had its own, I don't know, skipping secrets now, but had its own selection of custom arcade hardware that ran on Voodoo stuff, and I'm not sure, there probably is some videos out on there. It'll be fascinating to see everything, or which ones did that. The one thing I noticed above all, with volume pretty low now, with, there we go, some more shotgun feel, with playing Quake is that there's so much, like, juddering. The animations aren't there, and it's pretty, you know, basic in the movement. Sort of mouse smoothing, it doesn't look very good. Looks like we have some pretty severe tearing too. We may have to go in and enable Vsync. But let me know if the tearing gets horrible. So I won't play Quake that long, but I get stuck in it. It's Quake. Again, plays very well on here. And, you know, I think you'd be hard-pressed to say, oh, this is the subpar way of playing Quake. I mean, it runs great. Now, you, of course, do not have 32-bit color, if that even matters. That was always the thing, especially on the TNT, that the performance loss was so great that I doubt many gamers ran with 32-bit color unless they were playing an older game that supported it. So, I mean, it was pretty horrible. Yeah, that's what I think. I'm going to enable Vsync after this. Now, of course, for those that aren't aware or haven't watched the stream before, I am playing on a CRT, as you can tell here, a 19-inch Vsync. You can watch my stream up here, too. Which, you know, I don't even see that almost on the CRT, but then in capture, you definitely see that more because it just, jaggies are showed very easily. Not jaggies, but tearing is shown pretty easy on a flat panel. I just keep playing Quake here now. So, we will go back to, but I just wanted to show, like, you know, especially if you do older games like that, it just does it really well. And we can actually get directly to 3DFX tools from here using a little plug-in there. So these drivers are really, really cool. I recommend them. Enable. There we go. Direct 3D. Vsync enable. Because it gives you all the settings you might need directly in here, you know, quote-unquote natively, which makes it pretty cool. So, yes, the action cam is back. I stole the webcam back, so. Yeah. I think we talked about that before, Dermot. It'll be awesome to see a Quake revival, a full Quake revival or remaster. That's true. We should probably enable triple buffer. That is a good point. That's why I have all the people here helping me. Probably no filtering is off, but we need triple buffer. Full buffering. Enable. Evening, Sucra. I'll say. Everyone says Sucra. But, yeah, you say Voodoo and everyone comes out of the woodwork, so. But let's play a game that I thought was real fascinating that is very, very well suited for the Banshee, and that is Death Cars, which I had never played it before. And it's a kind of racing game. I mean, it's cars, and with shooting and stuff like that going on, with power-ups and stuff like that, and it plays remarkably well on this machine, I have to say. At least from what I oh, okay, it was required for Direct 3D. Okay. Of course, now we're hanging out in Glide. You definitely saw the little 3FX logo pop up there. It doesn't always do that. So, but this is actually a pretty cool racer. Let's see about volume here now. Do a couple arcade races here. But it feels almost like an N64 game in the sense that it's got that style to it. 11 arcade games. Fascinating. It'll be interesting to see then. So there's a list somewhere. Yes, MVG is phenomenal. I mean, I love his videos. And then, of course, he is working for... What developer is it? He's the lead dev on several of those new ports, like the Quake one, which was really good. The new one that came out. With the kind of... Not the... Well, it was a remaster. Let's see. We'll do... Sure. We'll do Metro City. Continue. I don't know anything about these cars. Difficulty. Up, up. No, let's not do that. Blitzwagen 1. The faster they are, the more difficult they are. We'll go with this one. This one's fast. We will definitely not fly off the track. This is very much... yeah, I don't think the links work in chat, unfortunately. You have to drop it in Discord if... Yeah, it's not going to work in chat. Chat censored all that stuff. But MVG seems like a really cool dude and very talented developer and everything. And I really enjoy his videos, a deep dive into the coding side of things, because, I mean, that's foreign to me. This plays very much like a pod game. I saw it mentioned as a very good card or game for the Banshee, and it's a perfect fit. It plays really well, really fast.
3, 2,
see on levels here.
go.
It's like if you ignore like everything's got to be 60 FPS. I mean, I would have played this as a kid and had a really good time. You know, especially driving off the track. Now it's definitely slow and sluggish in parts with more things on the track, but you could crank this down to, or set it down to 640 by 480 of course too, and have a go even faster. But it's very, very pod like. Oh no! I think when you blow up, you literally are you were literally out of the race, so... Oh, very low energy, but I don't know how to get energy. Destroyed! Good game, right? I'll try a couple more times. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like a 60 FPS was not a given back then. Certainly not for the computers I had. Nah. Oh boy. Yeah, good game. I just flew up. But it's got a very reminiscent feel to me of, like, you know, your Forsakens and your pod and things like that. You know, it's got all the colored lighting tricks and all that good stuff. Whoops, I don't want to fly off the track again. Don't quite know how to use items. They hit me really hard, but... Oh. I should have picked the one that's... Should have picked the one that's slower. This is fine. I mean, it's, of course, very high... Oh, I should have gone in the pit there. That probably gives me energy back. Very, you know, Wipeout-esque, of course, with these elevated tracks, and I don't think it's taken inspiration from a lot of different games. Of course, with Death Cars, the Armageddon comes to mind, but it looks just really good for the era, right? It's got all the tricks being used as far as 3D goes. I really don't know how to pick those things up at all. I need to go into pit next time, I think. Oh! Did I do a grind there? I'm just getting blasted. Hi, Octane, yeah. A lot of those racers, they do come to mind. Need to go into the pit here. There we go. An F-Zero, of course. I mean, this is straight out of freaking F-Zero now. When you're a solo like that, it runs really smooth. Oh. I'm not sure how to get pickups. But it feels like a very full-featured game as far as colors go. Yeah, Skybox, like, they went all out, and it feels very much like a console game in that sense. Like, there's now major concessions here as far as visual fidelity goes, and it's got an identity and everything. And it's not just brown. Like, that's probably the biggest thing with Pod, right? I know it's supposed to be like this post-apocalyptic racer, but it is very, very brown and sad. Oh. Oh, wow. Recovered fast. And I did that to dodge there, of course. But it plays really well. Got a nice little techno beat to it, and It's such a game of the era, right? Such a game of the era with all this color lighting and the way the graphics are. Makes me nostalgic for that specific era. The early, you know, full accelerated graphics. Good grief. Little techno soundtrack. I'm not sure if you can hear that or not. Whoa, that's off the stage. Fine, it's fine. It looks actually really good. And again, we could run this at 640 by 480. I've decided to basically take this card at 800 by 600 in most things here tonight. If that turns out to be a good choice or not, but I think that I would have preferred to play it like this to get a higher visual fidelity as a kid. I'm pretty sure I would have selected 800 by 600 versus 640 by 480 to get the good visuals like this. I think I'm going to survive through the whole race, even. Did not catch up to the first, though. Second place. All right, I made it, yeah. The techno soundtrack is not that exciting. It's just watch a replay here and see what it looks like. But so I can actually see the game. Also focus on not flying off the track there. But it's a cool racing game, and I think again it fits the system very well. And this feels like a N64 on steroids, as far as like this type of game with so much color lighting. This is the graphics I associate with, your Voodoo 2 and stuff like that. The racing games are really hard when you're streaming. If anyone's tried it, it's very hard to keep the focus. So I fell off track a few times. There wasn't much of a penalty there. I think the biggest penalty is, well, you explode. You're out, so which would make sense. But I will say, I know it's hard to convey that on stream because it's being captured, upscaling it, it's going through YouTube compression, who knows what. But it, to me, really good image quality on the Banshee. That struck me, especially on a CRT. It's just the colors are vibrant. It's what I associate with the early Voodoo games is very flushed out color, flat colorings and kind of like washed out. But this is like, feels like deep colors, a deep, width of different colors and everything. Now this game is very colorful in itself, but it really sells it to me because I was not associating that with Voodoo. Voodoo for me has always been like earlier, that is just washed out colors and that kind of stuff. So yeah. So, if I understood it right, looking this up, when 3FX designed the Banshee, they went like all in on getting a really good like quality output on the video. And of course, you now don't have to worry about the pass-through cable as well, which could degrade signal quality because you're passing a signal externally and back in again, right? With the Voodoo 2s, it's all integrated now, so that saves you a lot of quality loss, which gives you a nice clean signal. Because for me as well, the Voodoo 3s have excellent picture quality as well, so I'm glad to see that the Banshees already had it. Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, that's, especially if you're that young playing on that, I was a little older than that, but, that's what we had. It wasn't like, we can always dream about more performance or higher hardware, but it wasn't like we were just sitting there like, wow, this is horrible, this runs so slow. I mean, that's what you had. Often the best gaming experience that you had was on the family computer or when you got your own first computer, whatever it was. But then you had access to that you had a pretty good there. So, oh yes, Pixel, you actually mentioned the pass-through cable specifically, and I'm talk about it later. So, what he said. Let's do one more race. Racing games are, so-so, but I want to check out another track. Water track. Ooh, look at that, red. Looks good. We'll pick the car, maybe that... I haven't unlocked those. And we'll go with the easier car. I Nice, yeah, that's a good match too. Like, you can't really go wrong, especially with the Voodoo 3, because it is just an all-rounder card. It is probably my favorite retro card, because it's so compatible. Good image quality, good 2D image, you know, glide. All the old glide games are going to run, you know, really well on it. It has performance enough to run, you know, current games for the era. Direct 3D OpenGL support and all that stuff. I mean, it's such an all-rounder card. Like, a Voodoo 3 put in any retro machine is just... boy. Oh, alright. Well, there you go. Congratulations on having a proper GPU. That's a big step. Yeah, I think so. I love the Voodoo 5 for what it is. The Voodoo 5 is really cool. I'm really happy to have one, and we've streamed on that many times. Yes, on a coolness factor, the Voodoo 5 wins. But as far as like a favorite single video card from the retro era, you heard it here during GPU June 2, the Voodoo 3 is my all-time favorite. Because it is. You're right. It is the easy button. You plop in a Voodoo 3 in a freaking, like, I mean, virtually any machine from that era, you're going to have a good time. It is almost too easy to the point where it's, like, boring in that sense. But that's what makes it so appealing to me, is that it's a solid performer across the entire range, whatever you do with it, basically. That's my take on it. The Voodoo 5 is cool, don't get me wrong. It's very cool. But it's also a beast of a card, and fans, and who knows what. Although I added fans to my Voodoo 3. Wow, yeah, I guess so. Huh. Yeah, the LCD panels were pretty poor for a long time. CRTs were it, so... Alright. Yeah, that may be true. Like, as far as, like, which one was important, because, I mean, the Voodoo 2 was what made 3FX just really take off, right? Voodoo 1 was groundbreaking, got them a huge market share, and by Voodoo 2 was around, it was like they were dominating before... NVIDIA started competing them with the 128 and the TNT and all that stuff. Like, nothing really came close to the Voodoo 2 when it was out. Oh, they're making a Resident Evil 4 remake? I heard they were releasing Spider-Man for PC, which is pretty exciting, too. I'm thinking Steam Deck. That's my favorite way of playing games now. It's the Steam Deck.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, I think... that's going to happen with a lot of stuff, right? I have regrets, too, of some cards disappearing and things going away, and I think that's inevitable. I mean, we can't always keep everything, even though we try now as tech hoarders. There's plenty of things that have gotten lost over time from my childhood and stuff. Oh, my goodness. Now we're talking a little more advanced tracks here. I'm not sure what's up with the pickups, though. This is the version I have, or whatever. Is there a control layout here? Nope. Whoa, now the track got way more complicated. There we go. Whoa, that car explodinated. Boy, we got a lot more intense here now. We got a lot more intense. Now it feels more like Wipeout. Whoops. You lose very little time for that. I like that, because a lot of games, or not a lot of games, some games really screw you over when you fall off the track, which, I mean, it makes sense. It's a big deal, but it's frustrating when you lose a lot of progress just because you fell off. Oh, I need an energy thing. Right now. It's right here. There we go. Suck up that energy. Oh. Time extend. There's also a time system. How do I change color? Alt F4. Wicked. This is a cool game. I wish I could figure out the special items, though. Ow. Oh, there we go. Z. It's right next to Shift. Shift is the normal laser. Whoa, doing a little car grinding there. There we go. Yep, I got it. Now it turned into Wipeout for real. This is a fun game. I could have seen... oh, speed boost. Probably, maybe even hear the keyboard furiously trying to steer here and stay on the road. Yeah, I like this game quite a bit. I could see spending a lot of time on this and actually playing it for real. I have a shield. Shield. Nothing, though, is... Whoa! I'm doing quite well until I flew off the track. The wipeout narrator for the automated system that says what things you're getting is probably the coolest. Whoa! Arcing? Yeah! Whoops! I got it. I don't got it. I have to heal again. Hi Zoe, not a good time. Don't you jump on that open computer right now. My co-pilot is not helping. Missile. If this supports multiplayer, that would be a fun one too. I assume it does. Most racers like this seem to do that. Oh. Ouch. Boy, that is brutal on a time limit, though. Woo! Just barely made. Whoops. Oh, you can recover real fast, though. But yeah, it's got a very, like, Wipeout vibe now to me with... Yeah, that's right. There is a PC version that I did look at playing that tonight as well, but I figured this racer was so close to Wipeout from what I could tell. Whoops, there's that corner again. Yeah, hit the brakes. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, how unfortunate. It was going so well. Like most games like that, when you start falling behind and you start getting just slammed with all the special effects and who knows what, that's when you start getting really screwed. It's cool you can jump the track like that. For a strategic movement, but I think I'm running out of time. The time limit is pretty strict. It doesn't help when you fly off the track over and over. Maybe I lose time doing that. Well, I obviously lose time doing that. Too slow! Cool game. Ooh, nice. PS1 Wipeout games. Yeah, they're really, really cool. I think it's just the whole package deal with those games, as far as like the musical era and all that stuff too. Very nice. Yeah, Pixel, if you want a capture card that does all this stuff, then the datapath capture cards are glorious. They capture everything. Oops, I almost bumped the computer again here. They're unfortunately getting more expensive, but it will do everything. Acer. That doesn't ring a bell. But I've had... Oh, okay. Mario Kart hack. I have had really good luck with capturing virtually anything I've thrown at the datapath at this point. I mean, it takes everything. So that makes it very convenient for capturing these kind of games here. It's a frame grabber, so it's not a capture card per se, but it was made for, you know, full video production stuff back in the 90s, and it's just a phenomenal capture card, and that's what I use for capturing everything now. Hasn't skipped a beat in the whole time. It is tweak heavy. You have to mess with it a lot, but once you get it tweaked and everything to the way you want it, it is pixel perfect capture, which is what we're after, right? See if I missed any chatter now. There's a lot of stuff going on. Yes, I do have that one as well. I think we're talking about the StarTech USB 3 capture, right? I do have that one as well. That one works really well for your 640, 480, 800 by 600, 1024, all those standard Windows resolutions. It does not like DOS at all. There's a custom firmware for it that makes some DOS capture possible, but not perfect. Not as good as the data path. But it is more of a plug-and-play solution, especially if you're capturing mostly Windows resolutions and the 640, 480 and up, if you will. Problem with the DOS stuff is that it uses a non-standard timing, I think, right? So the data path synchronizes that just fine, but I've had problems with my StarTech doing that cleanly. Which is why I ended up using that converter, which, the Manta. But unfortunately, it basically... grip. There you go. That seems familiar, yeah. There's also that, what's the one that has the upside down? Is that grip as well? There's one of those roll cage, right? That's a similar four-wheel racer kind of thing that lets you go upside down and all kind of stuff. I think it reminds me of that, too. Yeah, it's multiplayer. Nice. I'll try it as a multiplayer sometime. And graphics. Target frame rate 6. We have detail level extreme. Do we punish the card? Allow slowdown. No. Let's punish it a little bit and see what happens. Let's do a quick time trial. See what it looks like at 1024. Now, there are no cars on the track besides myself, so we'll see how my scaling is here now, because I am scaling it up using kind of poor method, but whatever, we're just testing real quick. Impossible! Ew. Like a boss.
3, 2, 1, go.
Now, there are no other cars on the track and no effects. This is just arcade racing. I believe I even saw people recommend this 1024 as a playable resolution, which, you know, that will be high res for the era. But we can turn it to 640 by 480 and see what it looks like. I think I have to change my scaling settings a little bit because I am mostly adapted, whoopsie-daisy, for 800 by 600 the way I have it scaled currently, but hopefully it still looks alright. Who would ever need that? That's the thing, it's like the Banshee kept surprising me. It's like, it's not that bad of a card. Like, it has a really bad rap, I think. Now, of course, you know, I can install Fraps, but Fraps does not work in Glide, right? I don't think there's any way to get FPS counts in a game except the whatever built-in FPS counter happens to be included in the game, because there's no way to do it Glide, so... That's a little truck in there, stuff was happening, but... Yeah, alright, I did not fly off the track that time. Whoa! He said with supreme confidence. Okay, Zoe, you gotta pick a spot here now. Turn off my jam. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, right? But there's something that with the Banshee, too, are pretty cool. Like, you know, with... You can run Windows resolutions really high on the Banshee. Like, if you're just using desktop, you can go pretty high. 3D performance sooner or later is going to start suffering, right? But as far as like an actual desktop card too, it's surprisingly good. And then with the really good image quality, it's really solid in Windows as well for its 2D stuff. All right. What's the goal? There it is. Finished. All right. Yeah, I was curious about that too. I was planning on testing that myself to see. I think it scales. I found a website. I think it was a German website that had an excellent write-up on the Banshee with performance comparisons and scaling on CPU. And I was reading through that, and it was really fascinating to read. I can drop that in this video description when we're done too. But the person who had written the article was really... They went through everything in there, and it was a fantastic resource to kind of skim through. Alright, should we try 640 by 480 and see how quickly it runs then? Should be, you know, quote-unquote buttery smooth, you think, but we'll see my scaling now. Because I am scaling at 640 by 480. Alright, it's fine for now. It's not as perfect I would like it, but it's fine. Again, I have settings pre-configured on the data path so that when it switches resolution, it knows what to do with the image. So then the center sit and does all that stuff. And that requires tweaking. But once you have that, figured out, I can able to play like this. So okay, you went back to the main menu. But now it screams like, almost Dreamcast to me here, or, yeah, in 64. So let's do an arcade race again with some cars on and see what it looks like. Do the medium one. Not unlocked. Short. I don't think I have any. That looks horrible. Let's try that one. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see what other GPU June stuff comes out. I'm working on a video as well. Hoping to get it out in June. It's been kind of crazy as far as like making videos, but it looks like to me performance is. I mean, at least there it seems pretty similar, and it just looks pretty horrible now. But you still have. It's not like buttery smooth. Still, it doesn't seem to be a huge difference. Like I would happily. Okay, here it's definitely smoother, but I probably would have been more than happy with the 800x600, I think. Yeah, that's the thing. I got mine for 70, I think, when they were still... They do pop up. They do pop up, for sure. Because people now know what they're worth. They are excellent, excellent retro console capture cards as well. The thing with them that they're basically the all-in-one. That was my end solution, if you will, for capturing. It has served me very well once I figured out how to actually use it. This is like Dreamcast now, isn't it? Ooh, repair. That's the vibes I get now. It's like Dreamcast game. But, certainly it's faster, but not like super smooth. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me as well. The P2 350, of course, is not the... Whoa, look at that. Not the fastest P2, but it certainly is a very powerful one for mid-1998, so you could probably crank this up higher. What I had in mind for the final home for this video card is actually a K6 2 Plus 550, so a Super Socket 7. I think that would be a wonderful pairing for this Banshee to finally live, which is probably not as powerful as the P2s of the era, but I don't know, it just lends itself to that kind of quirk a little bit. I'm really digging this game. Especially when I fly off the track in a spectacular fashion. So yeah, I would definitely sacrifice what little performance difference there was there. Although there's something charming. There's something charming about chunky 640 by 480 glide. And I mean, I love the colors and everything here now. It looks glorious and very, very much like this era. Nice, that's a good choice as well. A P3 or whatever would get you... would get you a maximum performance basically out of the Banshee, I think, realistically, unless you put it in a way overpowered. Keep missing that corner there. Now we're just playing this here, but really cool game. So, I do have actually a A6 2 Plus 550 sitting right here that I found on eBay. It was mislabeled, and I got it for like $8. So, I appreciate the offer, but I think that one's probably going to be good. The motherboard, the Super Socket 7 motherboard, is actually in the box this current motherboard is sitting on. So it's being used already. Okay, let's go to another game. But I'm going to switch it back to 800x600, because that's what I want to have it at. So this is more of a temporary machine, but I think it's a wonderful pairing. A, mid-range P2, mid-upper. Was it 450 was the fastest one? And I probably, like, in my mind, I would probably put it with a TNT or something. A faster P2, that's what it feels like to me. And a legal operation. Why not? It's fine. It's fine. But let's try something that we all know and love then, and maybe just try a couple of rounds of Unreal Tournament, because that's, of course, one I think we're all very familiar with. This is set to 800x600. And it is on medium quality settings. So, and what I found here is that it's really seems hard drive limited. It seems to be really struggling with the hard drive speed. That's true for the era, right? We didn't have lightning fast storage at that time, so the hard drive is spinning and chugging like crazy right now. Yeah, it's a fun era. I've really had a good time doing more period accurate machines, because you can always put this in a, and I like that you put it on P3 550 and not like a, 1.4. That's more of a P3 or Voodoo 3 or in this, here now as the seeking and reading. This game pushes the Banshee beyond its comfort zone, I think.
In
Fully playable.
2291, in an attempt to control violence among
horrible
deep space
clip
miners,
sound. It's not just
the
me,
new
right?
Earth government
Unreal
legalized
Tournament
no-holds-barred
seems to
voting.
have
Leandri Mining
extreme
Corporation,
clipping
working with
in the
NEG,
audio, the
established
narration.
a series of leagues
Like it's
and
like
bloody public exhibitions.
it's clipping, so it's losing
The fight for popularity
quality at the
grew
top
with
end.
their brutality.
Now,
Soon,
I've played
Leandri
Unreal Tournament on a
discovered
lot
that
of
the public
machines, and I'm used to
matches
this
were
being
their
very
most
smooth.
profitable
So
enterprise.
right now,
The professional league was formed.
it
A
is.
cabal of the most violent and skilled
Yeah,
warriors
exactly.
in known space, selected to
Is there a
fight.
way to turn that down? Do they have? Is the voice just set to cranked? Maybe I just have never checked it. Alright, announcer volume is max. I don't think I've ever checked that, but that's of course what has killed us before on... Yeah. Let me try and start that again, because I wanna see what that sounds like. Yeah, this is definitely not a machine I would like. If I were to play Unreal Tournament and have fun with it, this is not the type of machine I would go for. I'd probably go for P3 at the least. Or P3 with a Voodoo 3 or higher, I think plays Unreal Tournament wonderfully. And this feels like it's just below that, but also very realistic for what someone would have had. A mid-range P2 and a Banshee. I mean, this probably was a pretty common configuration. A P2, 266, 300, 350, and a Banshee. I bet there were many machines that were sold that way, so... Yeah, as far as hard drives, I wanted to use an actual spinning disk on this one because it's fun, but I've had very good luck with the solid-state ones as well. See what it sounds like.
In 2291, in an attempt to control
That's not clipping
violence
as much.
among
Thank you for that
deep
tip.
space miners,
However, yeah,
the
you're
new
right.
Earth government
Dermot is
legalized
compressed like
no-holds-barred
crazy.
fighting.
It always struck me that the
Leandri
sound
Mining
is really bad, the
Corporation,
announcer.
working with the NEG,
Let me check. We can check the settings here now. We have then Glide at 800 by 600 with 16-bit. Of course, there's no option. Although the Banshee does something fascinating, as far as I know. Someone can correct me here now, but I think it uses what's called a 22-bit. It does an extra pass on the 16-bit to get kind of like in between. So if you do the 22-bit versus the 32-bit on TNT, which had a significant performance drop, I don't think anyone would have ran 32-bit if it hit performance as hard as I remember doing, and especially in my testing too. That it just really is. Really? I could have sworn I read that the Banshee had the same 22-bit thing, but I stand corrected if that's incorrect. The idea being that it kind of bridges the gap, especially because the 32... Yeah, there you go. The 32-bit was just not practical on any card I could do it at this era. Up until TNT 2, that it was really practical, so... Even Harry asked human with old cards that don't want not too powerful. Well, if you have cards that aren't that powerful, I would encourage you to just join any of the Facebook groups or Reddit. There are plenty of retro discords. If there are cards that you really don't want anymore, if you offer them up to the community, even for a small finder's fee, if you will, many people enjoy that stuff, or they collect, or they have gaps in their collection, things like that. If there are cards that really are off the beaten path, or cards that aren't as popular, you'll always find someone who wants that stuff, and then you keep it in the community. Because I hate just chucking something out. I feel the same way. There are few old cards that I would consider as chucking. Most cards have a use of some variety, but do they have a use to you or not? That's the question. So I think it's a wonderful thing to give back to the community if you're just gonna chuck them out, Well, it's a question. I think color banding on a CRT, it probably would have blended it more, didn't it? Especially in motion, it blurs it pretty effectively, so... let's see. I want to double check my settings here. But yeah, I love this UI as well. I think this game is just amazing. Alright, I did set it correctly there. And yeah, I think you would have a lot more fun with this game as far as playing it for real on a faster machine, for sure. But I also think this would have been a very realistic computer to play this game on, so... I don't think we're going to do the fog one. That seems like that would ask for... Just sold out tonight again, sorry. Nothing exciting. There we go. This is a really small one, isn't it? 2 to 4 players. We'll do this one. Got some bots. Yeah, we'll try this a little bit. It is fun to see the performance difference. Yeah. And it's not, you know... Again, it's a fine experience, but, you know, you notice stuttering. This is definitely not the comfort spot for the Banshee. This machine. But it doesn't... Yeah, we're having some severe stuttering here now. Maybe when the computer is done caching, it will catch up. It was not this bad early. The card's overheating. It's a hard drive. We'll give a little time to catch up on caching here, because it was, when I was testing it earlier, it certainly run better, but I also was not playing quite as open of a stage. Pick it up and out of a forcer. I mean... Yeah, probably. Whee! Rocket launcher. I mean, it is catching up and playing it fine, I think. Oh, don't fall off. There we go. Yeah, alright. I can't believe I made that. Come on! I ran out of ammo! Oh no! Yeah, that's the thing. This game, I'm so used to seeing very, very smooth. Like, you know, you play this on... This is a very common test game, at least for me. Oh, unfortunate. Ah! Turn up a little bit, but not too much. There we go. A superior weapon. Flat cannon. It's the winner. Every time. I think probably if you were actually playing with friends in deathmatch, you'd probably switch to 64x480 to get better performance. We can try that as well. This is 800x600 at medium settings, of course. We'll see if there's any difference. This is definitely on the slower side of things. Black cannon, the best weapon in the game. So let's auto switch to the rocket launcher. This game is still a blast in multiplayer, isn't it? I mean, it's just the core design of this game. The bots are set pretty low, so they're not good or smart or anything like that. I don't have a scroll wheel, so I can't switch guns. Woo. Ow. Of 100 drag limits. Excessive. Of course, a Star Trek or Enterprise-looking map. We're probably like in the 20s, in the 2030s, I'm guessing here. A lot of the time. And you're stuck into playing Unreal Tournament now. But I will say again, this game quality is superb for what it is here. No. Yeah, once you're playing a multiplayer itself, I imagine that's not helping the case as far as the CPU goes. But remember also this game came out in 1999, right? So it is definitely newer than the Banshee, but it would have been a very realistic game to be playing on a Banshee as well. Someone had bought a computer, you know, the year before. It's fun to think now, you know, we like this retro stuff, but like how fast computer development was going during this time. I mean, it was nuts. Like, there was new video cards coming out like every 6 months. There was new processors coming out every few months, and I mean, the P3, a lot of the P2 stuff came out in the same year. And you look at, like, the Voodoo 3 was less than 6 months after this card, I think, too. So it's like, things were flying fast. There, we'll switch to 640x480 and see if there's a better... Can we do that on the fly? Not sure we can. We can try. Let's try. Poor hard drive is spinning. There we go. Certainly a smoother. This was would definitely be a way to experience this game and have a good time. But it's definitely still struggling. We could set it to low. I know that. I remember as people were playing like Quake 3 and stuff like that back in competitive, they would set the settings to absolute minimum to get the maximum performance, because every millisecond in the game counted, of course. Especially in these open areas here. The flat canvas is fantastic. I don't think gravity works that way, but whatever. Oh, I made it back. I'm alive somehow. Yeah, definitely running very smooth in the sections that have not much showing, but as soon as you get into the... This will definitely be a 640x480 game. I'm trying to play that by looking at the stream replay. That made it a little too hard. Shield belt. Thought I should win this match just out of principle. Ow. Phenomenal soundtrack, too. Get back here. Get over here. Oh, they just got Gigabyte. Oh, no, whoa. Yeehaw. Yeah, this game is an auto-install on pretty much any Pentium 3 machine. Just has to have it. It's just too much fun not to. Yeah, the facing world thing. The original Smash Brothers. Like, this was the first, like... Someone correct me here now. Was there another purely arena shooter like this? Because, I mean, there was plenty of deathmatch going on in Half-Life and, you know, Quake 2 and whatnot. But was there another dedicated arena shooter like this that had no single-player campaign that was just... Because Quake 2 was very similar, but did this come out first? Come on. There we go. Aha. Invisibility. Ooh. Stripes before that? Rampage. True. That could have been it. Shock core.
Got it.
Oh yeah, I think we try that. I don't remember trying that on stream. XS. Maybe not. There are other ones that are at least like that. And the Banshee's doing admirably considering what this is, so... Haha, no problem. Yeah. The Voodoo 3, I think, I mean, again, is really the superior card. No denying it. When you do, like, 1-for-1. There we go. Aha! Level enough. rocket plan comes together. What a great soundtrack. What a great game. Okay, I see all the dithering going on in the smoke effect and everything, so that's true. You kind of do need the internet. I mean, LAN parties, of course, were a thing in this era, too. I mean, there you have the brain drain is the thing going on right now. Become like a thing. We also need to get that going locally. Yeah, they were like the first, at least like the big ones that really took off. Yeah. The bob took up pretty low, so I shouldn't pat myself too much on the back here.
3, 2, 1. Congratulations.
Yay!
Winner.
You're a winner. I'm not sure. You had several mods for Quake 2 and Half-Life, right? That were, you know, Day of Defeat and those that were very popular, you know, Counter-Strike and everything, but that was... Yeah, I guess those were earlier, right? They were before Unreal Tournament, because that was 1999. Yeah. That's true. Alright. Well, that is Unreal Tournament anyway. I won't dwell on that too long, because it's an arena shooter, but I left with my pride intact. We should play a game that I think is very typical for the era, which will be Incoming. That is one that I think was used for virtually every demo and show off, because it is a very colorful game, and it is say the showcase for 32-bit color as well, which of course these do not do. And also here the Audigy, not the Audigy, but the Aural Vortex uses full 3D positioning, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, Half-Life was really phenomenal when you think about how the storytelling was. Like the amount of scripted, there's no cutscenes in that game. There's no stop of gameplay and cutscene. To me, that was the biggest thing. It's like, technically, it's cool with the amount of stuff happening in the end and the things you can do, but the amount of stuff they tell on the story just in the game was, to me, revolutionary. I can't think of any other game from that era that did such immersive storytelling. Hey, do you know that Rage Software made this game? In case you missed it. Any Glide game is super happy in Incoming. It is a very, very likely for this, so. Yep. I don't think I have that installed. Codename Eagle doesn't ring a bell. Was that one of the earlier, like, military team shooters? Florida man wrestling stuff away. Can't have those gators. I think we have the settings here. It's all high. We're at 800 by 600. Bilinear, we can... Oops, I can't even turn that on. Bilinear is on. This is a showcase. I think it was this game, unless I'm mistaken, I think it was like the most bundled game ever. It came with like almost every video card to show everything off, right? So campaign action. Mission 1. Quad linear evening run. And you hear the Aural 3D positioning stuff starting up there. Sounding cool.
Incoming alien fighter.
Oops, shot that mound. You can see kind of like the dithering going on. But this was the showcase for, I think, every video card. Turn down that a little bit. It feels like it was the showcase for every video card ever. More. Proc, yeah, that was on my list. I thought about it. You're thinking of Battlezone, the 1998 Battlezone remake, which we did stream on the Voodoo 2, which handled it alright, but the K62 was definitely being pushed beyond its breaking point, I think, for that one. Which has been upgraded since. This is not a very effective alien invasion. I could have told you that. I think this was on, like, every freaking, like, showcase and glorified tech demo, you know? That is a powerful Atari. I don't know, that game's a little hard to run.
Destroy alien surface craft.
But it's a fine arcade title. Blowing everything up. Whoa! Who's shooting me? This is the wave shooter, like you're just fighting waves. You know, I've never played it. I remember reading about it in magazines, but I don't think I've ever played it. It's a lot of pew-pewing. Just remember when this was like a big deal visually. This still looks pretty good, but it was like, you know... Whoa, that's the ground. Wrong way. The ground should not be that close, but Impossible Creatures, I think, is one where you could create your own creatures, basically. Like a playground of different genetic experiments. Will I get a copyright mark if I that?
Incoming alien tanks.
But this is a game that feels like it should have been on the N64 if it wasn't. Like that. I'm in a tank. Fascinating. Is that a game that's like pixel art, or is it like full 3D and everything? I can't remember. It was kind of an era when you had started seeing everything being 3D and incoming. Well, like I told you that. This game runs beautiful, but this is one of those games that, you know, any glide card will... This game is very happy with any glide card. Whoops! Yeah, you gotta break some stuff to protect your base. Yeah, that's... Boy, this is just... This is all this game is. There's nothing deeper than this. You pretty much just... wave after wave of men at your disposal. I don't have to like beep because I know there's aliens everywhere. But this was showcase, like every magazine tested this. Remember, like, it was just the poster child for, like, 3D effects and 3D accelerated graphics because it just looked so good. Well, yeah, I remember. But yeah, there isn't much to it beyond that, so I don't know that, you know, it would be neat to have, but it might be a little sad to buy this full because it probably isn't much beyond this in the game. Blowing up my own base, but, you know. Oh, okay. Hello. Big bada boom. Woo.
Destroy a waypointed object.
Boy, there's no rest in this one. Oh, taking damage here now.
Destroy all alien craft.
You just said that. To the point of this game, I don't think I've ever played this long. Because it just, you know, you get a little burst of this game, and that's pretty much it. You don't need to play this for hours, you know. Whoops. It's just been revoked. Oh.
Destroy alien surface craft.
Yes, sir. A missile. Hmm. A little funky music going on. And it's got like a little bit of feel to, you know, your almost like Rogue Squadron or those kind of games where you just kind of guessing how many alien craft. I got that pegged. Should have sent out a few of these vehicles and then just take out the whole alien armada, no problem.
Follow waypoint marker.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I wish there was a little bit more to it than this. There isn't much depth here, but it does have a very strong resemblance to the battle zone, so...
Cargo crate.
You can get through these phases, but it's just like bam, bam, bam. Go, go, go. Pick up that cargo. Ooh, nice.
Follow waypoint marker.
Yes, sir. Basic maneuvers. I have to go.
Resupply complete.
Destroy all alien craft.
Yeah, they should just send out one or two of these guys, because my goodness.
Incoming alien craft.
Just slow down a little bit there now, too. But it's still a fun diversion, but it's definitely got that quick pick up and play. Whoa. Okay, but how do I fly up? I'm in a spaceship now. That's the thing, you could definitely, if you play this with, roll now. I can do a barrel roll. But it's hard to control though with, hard to control with the keyboard.
Follow waypoint marker.
Yes, sir. Coming over landing. Hot shots landing. There we go. Little descent style there.
Base complete.
Base complete.
Follow
Yeah.
waypoint marker.
I think this is all there is to the game, so... That was an interesting era. I remember watching when the first Halo was announced as like, you know, Mac exclusive and all that stuff, and went through all the different things until Microsoft bought Bungie and all that stuff. We were excited and waiting to play that game. We were pretty excited, and then, yeah. No chance. Did not own Apple hardware at the time. With the microphone up here. I can pew pew more. Oh, that's my own guys. Sorry.
Defend Allied craft.
I mean, shoot everything. You don't have to really tell me. Shoot the red reticles. Got it. I mean, just give the give them a couple of those auto-targeting lasers and pretty much set.
Defend Allied craft.
I am. There we go, now we're getting into... You use pew pew laser, it's super effective. I think this is an escort mission. Cardinal Sin. At least they blow up easy, so that makes it satisfying. They just explode, I guess, pretty quickly. This is a real helicopter training simulator. It's interesting. The Mac stuff, like I'm really interested in the, you know, the like mid to late 90s Mac era where a lot of games were coming out and it was 3D accelerators and, you know, Voodoo cards for Mac and everything, and that's a fun Mac gaming era for me, being mostly a PC gamer at the time. Like, it's, you know, mimics the PC stuff a lot. I'm sad I kind of just abandoned it. Like, there just weren't enough money in it, but... Yeah, this feels like it could have been, if you didn't have, you know, without the glide rendering and all that, the good software, this feels like it could be a PS1 title, too. Got all the hallmarks of it. How long am I defending this? It's crafts. It's getting all tiring now. Where are you? Okay, how many are left? But also, you know, whatever appeals to me out of this game, especially now, you know, you play this on the Banshee, it handles it very, very well. I did do one Mac live stream, or a couple actually, several. Last DP June, I streamed on the Rage 128 Pro. Some games on that. That was a G4 for, say, 400.
Unit destroyed. Incoming alien fighter.
Okay. Just flew off. Bye. So, I got it working, Sean. It is working. And yes, we will do that sometime. It is working. I was going to make a post about it or whatever when I had a chance to actually capture some video on it and everything, but it is working. Sorry. Whoa, we could move out of the way there. What we're talking about is me getting Monk Allen to run on my Tandy, which was just not working. What I ended up doing was just deleting everything I had. Oh, radar damage. and starting over, and that seems to have done the trick, so. Where? Because I have no radar, because I blew up my own radar. There it is. Don't land on my stuff. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it looks really good. I'd say I'm a fan of the handy mode on there. It looks really good. So I was hoping to make just a little video on it, not like a big video, but just like a Twitter video or something. So it does look pretty neat, and I am able to capture candy using the data path and a converter, which makes it look really clean. So scenario completed. Hooray! Aren't you all gonna go run by this game now? Ah, yes, Monk Island Amiga. That is. It destroyed just a few friendlies. 24 buildings. Oops. My neighbor had an Amiga 500 growing up in Sweden. Welcome back, Solar. Good evening. Not a bad idea. Clean things up. I saw Monk Island almost the entirety on my neighbor's Amiga 500. And that was kind of how I experienced it. Most of it. And the Amiga was fantastic for the point-and-click adventure game, so. That's probably enough of that game. I don't think we need to do... That's pretty much exactly... Yeah, I think... Destruction of alien Arctic base. Maybe you're hunting stuff now. Reinforcement for our constantly arriving via transport aircraft and satellite-borne heavy laser weapons. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think you've seen virtually everything the game has to offer, except a little bit of different... campaign tactics. What's this then? Protection of a data installation. Now, yeah, that's pretty much it. We won't play Incoming very long, but I think it's a good showcase of what the video card can do and what it did for that era. Plays really nice. One thing I'd like to show real quick is actually Doom 2 and to see how good the 2D graphics look in this game. Now, unfortunately, the game has audio that's being emulated by the Aural Vortex and does not sound good at all. But it plays very well. Like, you know, you can do this kind of thing just fine, so... Goody. All right. See you later, Sean. Have a good one. That is to say, a Banshee makes actually a really good, like, 2D rendering card, too. Games like this play actually surprisingly well on it. Now, you know, a lot of things can run Doom. That's not a problem, or Doom 2, or whatever have you, but it looks really good, actually, for this card. I think that's another hat in the feather... feather in the hat for this card as far as like the usability of it. As they call it, projection-based 3D, because it's basically projecting your viewpoint, right? The walls and everything. That was the big thing that Carmack figured out, was a textured wall engine, which was, you know, groundbreaking at the time. Yeah, they don't. They sound pretty bad. So I think we're basically running a lot of music here now, but it does not sound good at all. That's not the main purpose. This is a very Windows card, you know. Not what I would consider a DOS card at all, but it does support the. It does support it, you know. Oops. I think I alt-spaced it there. That wouldn't happen in DOS. But someone has figured it out. Shotgun. And there's this. I always forget all the secrets. Doom 2 is the one I actually have a big box copy of. It was one of my first PC. It was my first PC game. I got Doom 2 and Transport Tycoon for Christmas of '94. That was a good Christmas. So I know I'm missing secrets here now, but the music is just terrible. But the is the music even running? Might be off. It doesn't matter. The emulation of it sounds just awful. The sound master sound, of course, is the same, but the DOS emulation on this Aural Vortex is pretty terrible. But this is definitely a more it is a Windows 95, 98 card, 98 above all, and it's very good at that too. I tried General MIDI and I actually just crashed the whole thing, so I think the driver for that is just not quite there. I used Phil's Computer Lab had a link to drivers for that Aural Vortex card. I installed the DOS drivers and everything too. It is not the Turtle Beach custom driver because that does not install the DOS driver. So, I'm not sure. Probably that Death Cars game or something. I usually get a flag almost every time I stream because of music, but some games you just have to do it. You can't stream Star Wars, for example, without music. That just doesn't fly. Not that we're going to play a lot of DOS games, but I just wanted to show, too, that, you know, the Banshee makes a very fine... I have no ammo. Makes a very fine card for DOS as well. You can play, you know, pure DOS and have a good time, especially if you put in a more DOS-centric sound card, which I do not have now. Back. I played this game completely with mouse and keyboard, or with keyboard only like this. Yeah. That's the thing, just take a break. It's like the video stuff's not going anywhere. I take sometimes intended, sometimes unintended breaks for a long time. I haven't made a video now in, you know, 2 months. I have many plans in between. Life gets in the way. There's just no way around it. Because life has to come first. We're not doing this for, fame and fortune. I mean, at least of the size we are, or I am. Just enjoy it. If it's not fun, then it's really hard to do it. Super shotgun. Most satisfying gun in any game, maybe. Splish. What a great game. It holds up so well. Did not get the blue key yet. Can't see. Care of that. Yeah, it's near impossible streaming, especially the games that, you know... There's so many games that are just going to be near impossible to stream in the future, I think. Yeah, twofer. Whew. I think in the case of this here, this driver is probably the best you can get to get DOS compatibility. But it's just, the Aural Vortex just does not, yeah, it is very dark. Especially the early LCDs that were just, you know, washed out colors and everything. Again, I am playing it on a CRT, if you're wondering, which is still pretty dark here, even. It's hard to see. But you can see, you know, it is just placed so well and so right. But we won't play Doom that long. We've all seen Doom 2 a lot. But I just wanted to show a little bit, too, that it just does so well with the 2D stuff, too. But let's play a... let's play a oh, I think I have to have the CD in. Let's play an actual FPS that's more of the era. Rock 2. Which I haven't played really at all. I'm fascinated. Yeah, that's true. They are really horrible. But it's sad, because especially you're playing a game like... I know we played... Don't start the setup. I think it was Sin we played. Like a year ago, last GPU June, with the Voodoo 3. And also Aural Vortex 2. And the positional audio there was really good. Just for 2 channels, it sounds just really, really good. And I'm a big fan of the Aural Vortex chips. I'm trying not to bump the computer. Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. It's like you can always get better drivers and everything. I imagine they would probably benefit from using just a SC55 or some general MIDI setup or something like that. Yeah, I was surprised this series didn't continue going. So we are running on the Banshee here, Glide 3.1. We can also run Direct 3D, but we have Glide, so we're going to use it. High details. This actually lets you test resolution. We're going to test it at 800 by 600. And looked at it to make sure. Look at that. True Glide. The Glide Triangle. Zoe is here. They're ready. Yes, excellent. She likes the top head pets, not the chin pets, because then you might get a nipple. Yes, I did see a picture similar to that. All right. So that fast, you can, of course, go nuts. And this game is not super demanding, but it works quite well, 800 by 600. It looks very much like it was made for, it is an N64 title, right? So that's has the hallmarks of that with the big chunky stuff and everything. And I haven't played Turok 2, but it seems like it's just an, addition or enhancement of 1, so. Yeah, the computer case right now, and it's, for those that didn't hear in the beginning, the computer is an open air case right now. It is literally sitting on a box with the motherboard and just the parts sitting on top of it. So, yeah. Such character. And I feel like I want to try this on the N64 at some point, too, but I played Turok 1 on the N64 a little bit. Otherwise, I just play the PC versions. Look at that. It was the 90s. They have attitude. It's fighting back. Ouch. Alright. And you got a very console-like menu here. And easy, why not? Blood color red. Ooh, ouch. Ouch, Zoe. Green, if we're concerned about that. Ow. I think there was a... Actually, I want to show something because I think you set up controls. What I'm finding so far is the P2 with the Banshee is just a solid combination. I mean, it just runs things so well. Now, the K62 may be a little slower than the P2, and it just feels like, it will be a little more quirky and more interesting, I suppose. But it's such a solid setup, and I've missed having a P2. I've had P3s for so long, but I haven't really had P2, so I'm hoping to... I have a plan to make a very specific type of P2 soon. I've had the parts for quite a while now, and I'm hoping to make that into a fascinating build. But I kind of miss having a decently strong P2. Because, I mean, a P3 with a video card that's equivalent for that era will do everything. I mean, it's not like you need a P2 per se. It's probably the least needed one of the Intel processors if you want to have a range, because a P3 can cover it so well. Okay, so you're scratching me like... I'm sorry you can't sit still, but that hurts. Game is just going. We look at the keyboard here. Look at the amount of keys that are available here. Everyone got that? Look at the bindings. They have weapon numbers all the way to 20. Because this game has so many weapons. I always play it, but it is just insane how many shortcuts are already bound to the keyboard. I think there's only like 5-6 keys that are not bound. Which, we don't need that. I mean, it's fine, so... It's fine. It's just an FPS. But I believe it has a little cutscene and stuff in the beginning. New game. Look at this glorious 3D effect stuff. No, it's arrow keys. This is the olden days. Arrow keys. Is that the grown-up lady from Ocarina of Time? Swim lady? Ah, 90s character design.
Greetings, Turok. I
Turok.
am Adon. The elders of the lost land, known as the Lazarus Concordance, have charged
The
me
challenge.
with the task of guiding you on your quest to stop the Primogen.
The challenge
The
with
Primogen seeks to
streaming
destroy
multiple
the five
games is the audio
energy
levels.
totems
My
that keep him
goodness.
imprisoned
Having to
within
hop
the
around
wreckage of
and
his
make sure
flagship.
that's not too much.
If he succeeds in
We'll see how it is when
destroying
we get
all
into the
five
game
energy
itself.
totems, he will be freed,
Especially with the
and
guns
this
going
last
off.
wave of temporal energy unleashed will destroy
Some of those
the
Celerons
universe.
could be overclocked like crazy, right? Which one was it? Was it the 333?
Protect the energy totems at
That could
all
go
costs.
super, super high.
You will also be given
Because I know some of
additional mission
those
objectives
Celerons
as you
can be
venture
overclocked to
deeper
the sky and
into each of
back,
the worlds
basically.
that you must explore.
I don't even know who you are, lady.
The Port of Adi.
Hey now, this is an N64 title. Can only do so much.
This
300A?
peaceful
Okay.
coastal village has
I remember
been
watching
utterly
videos about that.
destroyed
Like,
by
I never
the
had
Dinosaur
one.
army.
But it's
Under
one of
the
those that could just
Primogen's
be
command.
overclocked to the nth degree.
In the hills surrounding the city, the battle wages on as stragglers are hunted down ruthlessly. The dinosaurs are genetically engineered dinosaur hybrids.
I don't even know.
They are
They're bad
utterly
guys.
evil and very dangerous.
Mhm.
Though they do the
And I'll say, how much can the i7 be overclocked on the ThinkPad?
and personal agenda of their own. To see humankind wiped
This is a
from the earth.
surprisingly
Your
ambitious and
mission
impressive
objectives
game, I
are as
think.
follows.
Especially when you look at it on the N64. I'm curious to check it out on the
Activate three
N64
distress
itself
beacons.
because it's a pretty big game for being on a cartridge,
Lesson
you know?
for children. Activate the warp portals
Okay, that's what I was wondering because here it
Locate the
runs
energy
very
totem.
well.
and defend
The
it
Banshee and
at all
everything.
costs.
But I mean, yeah. I have a feeling it did not run like this on the N64. Okay, Bluey. Just things to swim here and get. We're gonna swim and get those points or whatever. It's such a N64 looking game, you know? The chunky geometry, and you can tell that's what it is, but it also is very, you know... The N64 to me has always been a very, like, you know, 3D effects, glidey looking console. Of course, very blurry, but, just comes with the territory. We're collecting things. Was it helpful or required? That's right, because we're playing with Voodoo power. I didn't remember watching some documentaries talking about how they regret making the N64 as complicated as it was. Who made a video on that? I don't remember. I watched a video on it not too long ago that talked about the complicated design of the N64. Might have been MVG or someone, I guess, but how it was really, you know, they had regrets after the fact on how it feels like the field of view is way too narrow. Console. Power cell required. Where'd I find a power cell? Whoa, that's an explosive barrel, alright. Good to know. Oh, interesting. Oh, so you just lock adapter. Oh, yes, let's climb the console ladder. Well, a bow here somewhere. There we go. Collectibles. Yeah, just the field of view is just so narrow. Power cell. Good thing they had us sitting in the storage here. I feel I should go back and activate that power cell. Whee! Whee! And the pop-in, especially Turok 1 with the shadows.
Distress beacon activated.
Distress beacon activated. Still, it's got a charm to it, you know. All right, Bruce, thanks for stopping by. See you later. It's got a very distinct charm to it. But I want to play it like a, you know, a modern FPS or whatever, but it certainly plays... Is there a way to adjust the field of view? Because it is just ridiculously... Options... Nope. Whew. There we go. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Is there a Turok 3? There's only 2, but I'm out of the loop, I'm sure. Come on, Turok. A pretty beefy arm, so you can't grab that. But we have a, you know, higher than average chance anymore of getting all these remasters and stuff like that now for any of these games. It sounds like, you know, we're getting just tons of revitalizations and remasters and who knows. There we go.
Pistol.
Pistol. Ho, ho, ho. Now I have a gun. Machine gun. What always threw me off on this one is that there's so many weapons. Do you really need that many weapons? Does this have a save system? Yeah. Oh, looks like they already saved everything here. Okay. It plays clunky because, I mean, it is just really made to be... made to be played on console. But yeah, you're right on the field of view. It's like we're spoiled with that on PCs now with ultra wide and wide and all that stuff. Good evening. Welcome. Playing Turok, and I can't... Trying to just walk on that ledge. Playing Turok 2 using the Voodoo Banshee. Let's see if I can walk on this ledge the 3rd time. There we go. I don't know what those things do, but I bet they're important. Oh. It's like I have a bow and claw. I'm like, well, I have a pistol now, so, you know. The Triforce? The TV Triforce? Level 2 key. Got it. Alright. Very console-like. I wonder if there are extra packs and updates for this game to make it look more modern, play more modern. I find it fascinating to watch as games now get like open source, so they get cracked wide open. Like, you know, you had the Mario 64, Ocarina of Time now, and things like that. And as they're porting out to PC, the opportunity for enhancements and updates is near limitless. You know, ultra wide and higher res textures and ray tracing and all that stuff is really cool. Go up here first. Ooh. Now, some of the stuff that you see on Steam are unfortunately really bad. For example, the Max Payne one, I bought it on Steam to have it for Livestream, and as far as I understand, that game like literally won't run on modern machines. Like, it's literally not playable. Like, you bought the game and you can't play it. Like, that's kind of a big deal. Oop, I got color lighting going on here and something's shooting me. From where? Oh, grenades. Are they up there? Who's throwing grenades? Night Dive Studios, that's what I remember, yeah. Didn't they do a remaster of these? Like an actual, like... Not just a port, but like a full remaster. PC. Go check those out. Are probably the superior way of playing this. That did something. I think I saw Digital Founders videos on those, and I never forgot about it. But Night Dive Studio seems like to be the one for doing ports and whatnot anymore. They're the good ones. Now we're throwing stuff at me, dude. That did something. Where to go? I don't have a map or anything. Yeah, I think they made a Power Slave port as well, right? That one, the Power Slave, the updated one, has like a mixture of all the different Power Slave versions. But I'm pretty sure Solar's right there. They did a remasters of the Turok games as well. And I mean, they're kind of become the champion of remastering these games. A flashlight. It's already more advanced than Doom 3 here now. Yes, PC Gaming Wiki is really really useful. I use that for looking up a lot of compatibility, or especially playing older games on newer systems. I don't know what all these things are doing here, but I have the red thing. That's probably important. Hello. Some of the death animations in this game are just brutal. Like some, especially in the first one, they like their blood is gushing as they're dying. So that looks bad. We should save. You can tell the blending is doing on the text there is very like, you know, over corrected N64 kind of thing. Can I make that jump here? Ooh, texture flickering. I can, but I don't have a key, right? Nope. Sorry, kid. I'll be back. Ow, those freaking grenades. My goodness, the head bobbing and head movement is just so throwing me off. But very much, you know, N64 carryover. Cage open. Thanks, at least it said so. Hang on, I'm coming. Whoop. Ah, should have jumped on the corner. Whoa. Freaky. Just ragdolling him.
3 lives remaining.
Forget that, I have a save point. Oops, not that. Was it? I think this was my save. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Didn't lose that much. Thanks, Suka, for your only incorrect answers support tonight. Or only wrong answers. I'm curious to check out the Nighttime Studio port now. I think I would like to stream the Exhume one. The Power Slave one. Looks like a fascinating game, like it's a Metroidvania. I watched City 11's coverage on it, which was... I like these death animations. Impressive. And that was a really... fun, too. He does coverage of, you know, FPSs. He covered the uncovered Duke Nukem Forever thing recently as well, and that was really funny. There's a bridge now.
Child rescued.
Yay! Oh, that's nightmare fuel. And she vanished. Wow. Very nightmare fuel. Where am I going now? Did that door open up there? Maybe it did. Yeah, it's a little bit of nightmare fuel with these models and everything, but yeah, the very, very tight FOV is making me almost sick. It's like it's so tight. Whoop. Not enough slots available. Wow. So it's basically using the same memory module thing. Box of 40. Oh, so that's all of us here? 40 bullets? Alright, we'll do some backtracking. But yeah, the Power Slave Exhumed, as I understand it, is basically almost an FPS Metroidvania, because you have to unlock abilities to get further, and they took the best parts of the PlayStation version and the best parts of the Saturn version to mix it all together. There's a PC version as well, which is completely different. It's basically a build engine FPS. It has almost none of the same like Metroidvania. It's more like a Duke Nukem 3D game. I mean, not like Duke, but it's more like that sort of game. Has nothing to do with the other ones really, except the theme. Well, that door open now? Maybe it wasn't open before. This door's still closed. I'll fall in the water. Flash. Health. 2 health. There's no way out of here, huh? Alright. Swim it is. Is it barricaded now? No. Like we're playing X and 2 again. There's a lot of swimming around canals to figure out where to go there. Death animations are cool, but they're extremely excessive. Whew. Yeah, it's a neat game, I think, too. It might be fun to stream as well, but it seems like it's definitely the worst one, which is why the PC port, or the remaster recently, seems like a great combination. Like it's a best of both worlds, if that makes sense. That's where I came from. This was not open before, was it? Yeah. Oh, hello. That's, again, it's very impressive. Where I also like the fact that, like, there's talons and bows, and here's a pistol. It feels so out of place, but whatever works. Step into the blue light. Ah, very nice. Yeah, that was a good episode, too. Civ 11 videos are both really funny, but then also really insightful. Like, I really enjoy that. It's like, yeah, there's a comedy act there. Ooh, look at that nice little texture thing going on there. But they're really insightful on the inner workings of games and stuff. I mean, they can get a little trippy sometimes, but save game successful. Ow. And some open world here now. Shoot disco balls at me, or disco lights. Ooh. It really does make me want to check out the updated version. I bet it runs on a Steam Deck. Bad dino. Are monkeys? No, they're little dinos. They're just exploding. Texture model. Look at that. Glorious. Again, N64 is so weird in the sense that, like, it's so... Everyone check that out. It's definitely more of a standard arcade shooter, so... you're curious about that one, huh? That did something. It's such a... Like, for me, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings that love the N64, but it's an unappealing visual style to it, the whole console. Maybe because I didn't have it, but I just found it always just so blurry and stuff. I know there's mods to do it better, and you can emulate it and all that good stuff, but out of the box, it just feels like, it feels a little off. Versus the GameCube, I love that one, the video quality on it and everything. So, well, this is exciting. Turok 1. I don't think there's any settings at all. I think we're running at high quality. What we can do is this. Let's save, and then we can try and crank this game a little bit. Let's see. Let's do save game. Okay, deleted it, but then I have to save too. Whew, gotta remember that. I think I have to get out of the game. Let's go and see what settings we have on the quality here. We'll check a little bit quicker. And I heard, yeah, there we go. I think when you launch it, you go into the menu. And then we take a look and see what we can do. We're going to try and crank this really hard and see. I don't think there's anything as far as like the, yeah, eye detail, point sampled, mid mapping. Go into properties, triple buffer. That's the only thing we can do. But let's see how high can we go? What? Let's try, doesn't even support those resolutions there. Odd smattering. I don't like doing 1280 at 1080-24 because it is not 4:3. It is, for me, it was the natural next step when I was younger playing on games when we went from 1024, but it is not a 4:3, which makes my stream crunched. It is, what was it, 5:4, I think, or something like that. Ooh, that's right. I think I've seen some of those videos. We'll go to 1024 at least. 775. That's fine. I'm feeling dangerous. There we go. Yeah, there's no settings on it, and again, it's coming from a console title, right? There's just some more work to load that texture file, I guess. Whoop. Can it handle it? I think it should. Yes, let me load now. Take that. Here we go, load. Well, that does look a lot sharper. Well, the enemies are loaded back in too. It loads like the level, but not like where I'm actually at. Yeah, this would be the superior way of playing this, probably. And probably cranking it more, but I think there's only so much you can do with the world geometry and everything. It just doesn't... Oh, there's a ladder here. It's an extreme up close of the ladder. Very nice. Game Boy Advance is a phenomenal, system, especially the 101. Any fond memories of that? I had a 001. I bought the original Game Boy Advance when it came out. I still have it. That's the one I modded for my channel. With a new screen. But I had that right away, and then I bought a 001, the silver, the SP one, which is a really good console. And that was before the 101 came out. And then when I moved to America, it actually got stolen in transit. They opened up one of our packing boxes, or boxes that we had shipments in, and took it. So they took my wife's... look at the arrow staying there. I mean, it's such a weird, like, decision choice on where to spend the polygonal budget sometimes. Like, that looks really cool. Yeah, but that's the thing. The original Game Boy screen, and now there's so many good drop-in screens that are really, really good, but the 101, the AGS 101, is, especially for, like, the stock one, is the one to have. I mean, an SP 101 gives you the best, like, picture quality out of the box and everything. Yes, it is a console game. That rendering distance is quite something, isn't it? Insert PC Master Race. Look at that. Oh, the enemy's gone. It's the Turok fog. I don't want to check out the Night Dive remaster now, for some reason. I feel like this game would be interesting. And I remember Alex Battaglia, I think, covered it right on Digital Foundry, so... There you go. Jeez. Ah, alright, well, we'll try a different game. Plays really well. Cool game. We have to delete the save, and then now you have to save it. Does not auto-save it. So obtuse. Yes, I am sure. No more Turok. Really? I guess depending on the accelerator we had, right? So, it would probably handle it somewhat, I would think. Especially on a lower resolution, but... yeah. Yeah, having Game Boy Advance, I think it's especially if you get a flash card or something. Well, unless you like collecting the games, but the flash cards are pretty easy to get. I have one, the Easy Flash, I think. It was like $60 or something, and then you could put basically every Game Boy game on it. I mean, but then, yeah, of course, saving out for the Mister, that is, of course, probably one of my favorite pieces of hardware. No denying that. The Banshee is still here, still good. Let's play Future Cop LAPD. Let's see, I can't remember if I have an ISO file for this or not. I don't think so. This just dumps you unceremoniously into the game. This is kind of like a top-down, like, arcade firing game. So, let's check our preferences. Yeah, 800 by 600, and Pentium 2, and filtering. Yes. Filtering? No. Filtering? Yes. And lots to do. Gun weapon, space, heavy weapon, alt, special weapon control, jump, Z, action key, 2, change target, 0, jink left, jink right. So that's probably like, that's a lot to keep track of. We'll see what happens. I think you can beep beep. Easy, yeah. The briefing. There we go. It is just basically a top-down, blow everything up kind of thing. You're in a police mech like this. Whee!
Control situation.
It's a very interesting. Yeah, I thought about Shogun. I did not, unfortunately, install it for this. Whee! But it's a cool looking game. It's a very, you know, arcade style, and it suits this era of computer very well. I guess one of those I would like to have as a box if I could, but yeah, I think I did. LAPD. Yeah, it's basically like a mech shooting game. It's got a cool graphics and everything.
I can see the gate. The gun is in your way. Take it out.
Kinda. So the Banshee is basically like a mixture of 2D and 3D. It uses a kind of like a scaled down Voodoo, coupled with a really good 2D component that makes you have a all-in-one card. So think of it as like a Voodoo 3 Lite in that sense. Got some Command and Conquer vibes on the music, but oops, I don't need to jump. There we go. Getting used to the controls here. I'm not sure if this was on any consoles or anything. Cool music. Yeah, I think so. The rush then would basically be the reload action button. Let's switch this camera view or lock target. But this feels like a PlayStation 1 game or something. Someone wants to look up PlayStation 1? Okay. Yeah, the Rush, at least that I know, was basically like they used their own 3D circuitry, but then they used someone else's 2D stuff. So the integration there between those two was probably not as good as it could have been.
Plasma mines in your area. Watch your step.
Intruder alert.
This is a cool arcade title. Reminds me, there's other games like this coming out now. You know, mech walkers. I think there's a Brigador game. Adding some heft.
Nice shot. Take that.
A lot of controls to keep track of here.
That's a shield police reloader.
Thank you. Convenient. That's true, yeah. I'm not hurt by this, right? Mech.
See that generator? Gotta get past it.
Okay, so I have to do something with these here. Ah. Mortar shells? Yeah. Yeah, and the interesting part is that, so we showed earlier,
The exit is clear. Move out.
for those that didn't see, the card we're playing with is this, and this is the Gigabyte Ga 630, which is an overclocked from the factory version of the Voodoo Banshee. So the Voodoo Banshee normally runs at 100 megahertz on the core clock and also, I think, on the memory. And the Voodoo Banshee from Gigabyte instead has a 110 megahertz on the core and 130 on the memory. So that makes a pretty big difference actually in performance. So this is the fastest Banshee you can use or play with. So this is a cool game actually. Plays really well. So did we say this is out on PS1? Because it certainly has that vibe to it.
Intruder alert. Tertiary plasma gate failure detected.
That we can
Glorious,
pause
like,
this then. Find the other
3D
generator.
effects. Or this type of graphics, yeah. This is a Super Banshee. That's a great, that is a great, name for a video. Actually, I thought I was covering this part at some point, but it's the Super Banshee. Maybe I'll steal that. Moha. Little cape on it, maybe.
Secondary plasma gate down.
2 plasma generators are down. 1 more to go.
It's cool. It's little, basically like a little puzzle sections. This is really cool. It's an interesting control scheme, but yeah, there's a lot of buttons to keep track of. The puzzle sections here. Okay, so I need a third one. Did not make it there. I love these like early glide games and everything. They just look so cool. Go down here somewhere.
X1 Alpha, could you spare a minute to free some hostages?
Hostages? Yeah. Where are they?
Primary plasma gate down. Aerodrome security compromised.
You dropped the fence. Great going. You're doing great, but don't underestimate Mysterio.
Did I walk on them to save them? Oh yeah, I don't want to. I definitely know there are games that are worse, but there was a lot to keep track of in this one. But it does remind me of Descent a little bit. You have a lot of extra things to keep track of, but graphics are great. There we go. What you doing there? Go into your home there. Yeah, never worry about showing up. Come in, drop by, whatever. Don't show up. It doesn't matter. I don't want to. No one should feel forced to join the stream at all. So yeah, it's I don't expect it. It's always fun when people show up, but I never expect people to be here. Okay, go to the car. There we go.
The hostages are safe. Good going, X1 Alpha.
Glad I waited for that because that dude was just taking forever. Skippity doo da, skippity day. Doo. This is a fun arcade shooter, yeah.
Nice shot.
It does have a little bit of a crackdown feel to it. It's like, you know, remember, Agent, skills for kills.
Statue is toast. That's a
Okay.
heavy weapon police reloader.
Nice.
You've exhausted my patience. Time to die.
I'm taking some damage now. The maps feel like little puzzle sections, but I love the, it feels like a very much, like the, like this would have been an isometric game if it was made a little earlier. Where's the jump button again now? I forgot, there it is. Okay, lock target. Woo. That's a lot to do. It's like you shouldn't overextend yourself or do more than you want to, because it's easy to overcommit to things and then realize you have too much stuff on your plate, you know? And if the things you enjoy are stressing you out, that makes it hard to enjoy the things, so... Excuse me, I tell myself when I
Speed
can't get
can kill
videos
you
of.
here. Walk slowly.
Probably don't want to walk into this, right? Seems like a bad idea. Whoops. Has a bit of a, if anyone's played it on the Amiga Walker, you walk from right to left, you blow everything up. Kind of like the evolution of that.
Wait right there. I've got a little surprise for you.
This was on console,
Alert,
right?
enemy
Can we
incoming.
establish what's on
Whoa, this is a big one.
PS1? That's a tank. Okay, it feels very much like a PlayStation 1 game.
The ship is auguring in. Watch it. Good work. Keep moving towards the observatory.
Good thing it crashed right there. Check this out on PS1.
That's a Shield Police reloader.
What I need now is an ammo reloader. Elevator, okay. Yep, exactly. Whee! Well, that just hurts me a lot. Can't walk in on this. Whee! So, kind of like a little puzzle thing here now. Anything else I can do with that thing? I don't want to walk into the, thing. Can't do anything with that spike.
Red gate down.
Oh. I can just push the button. Good thing it has a mech-activated button. I'm enjoying this game. It sets this, what do you call it, cathartic feeling of just like, you know, working your way through here. Camera could use a little work here, I suppose. There's a lot of those games that are like on PS1 that work well when you add in a little of this like voodoo acceleration.
That's a heavy weapon power-up.
Nice. A lot of damage. Oh, extra damage. Alright, thanks for stopping by. See you later. Alright, cool game. That's true, that was the ship from Incoming. It looked very similar, didn't it? Oh, there's the thing up there. Oop, jump. Little puzzle stuff here now. Where am I going? Yeah, it does. A little Signosis stuff going on. A lot of keys to keep track of. I'm forgetting here now. Whoop! God morgon, Henke. Välkommen. It's very early in Sweden now, so Henke is joining us from Sweden. It's very late here. We're playing Future Cop LAPD, a walker taking care of business in LA here. Basically, I'm all shooting everything, I believe. I'm trying to figure out where to go now. I can't get in there because the spike is up here to turn that off. How do I get up to that? Some extreme platforming to be done here now. Oh, there's a little elevator there. How do we get the elevator down? It's got very Command and Conquer vibes to me. Yep, AM is the morning. It took me a long time to do that too, because Sweden uses a 24-hour time format, so, you know, it's 6:13, and then at night it's 18:13. So we're locked onto something up there. Bluey. I think I'm missing something here. Oh, there we go. Platform. 3 minutes late. That's unacceptable, Suko. Submit for an immediate performance review. There we go. Now we're up here. Oh, that looks like it's gonna...
Reinforcements summoned.
Ooh, I hate hype. That's a special weapon power-up.
Oh, wow. That's excessive. But that's the trick. Jump up here. Pretty good jump height there.
Blue gate failure detected.
There we go. Ooh, pretty good jump. Oh, that took actually. Oh my goodness, took a lot of damage. So much damage, I actually almost broke there. Alright, thanks for stopping by. See you later, Solar. I feel like I'm gonna die here in a second, so...
Green gate down. Total security failure.
That's it. The last fence is down.
I can't wait to meet you in person.
Okay, so how do I get there? No health left. It really is. Like, again, who said it, like, if Edit 209 would have worked, this would have been the program. The endlessly spawning bad dudes here. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Not in a good spot right now, though. The way out of here. Is there a map? Oh, there we go. So, oh, it's got a waypoint on the. Ah, through here.
And the wait is over.
Is this a health pickup? Because that will be terrific. Yes, thank you. All right, see you, Solar.
There's the observatory X1 Alpha. Take him down.
You'll live just long enough to regret that. Let me introduce you to my little friend.
Oh, it's got shields too. Hands hurting from this, remembering all the keyboard shortcuts here.
Area secured. Nice job.
All right. Cool game. Well, difficult on the hands there, but yeah. That was just like one map, I guess, so... two-player. I think it uses shared keyboard, because if you look at the configuration for the keyboard, you can play 2 players. That would be brutal, but that's probably really fun on the TV using PS1. I kind of want to check that out on the Mister. That's the thing with the Mister having access now to basically the entire, you know, PlayStation catalog. That's really hard. It was an Anger Red payphone. Concussion beam. Nice. Flamethrower. That minigun was pretty good, wasn't it? Sky Captain. But the Captain Falcon's ship there. Oh, so okay, they have different ones here. That's a flying one. That was completed at Griffin Park. Yeah, I really enjoy the PlayStation 1. I didn't have one or had access to one because we had the rental out of my parents' business for Nintendo and Super Nintendo. So, like, that was it. They couldn't really justify buying anything because we could have rental so easily. And then, I wanted the concussion beam. And having access to that, it was like, then when they stopped getting rentals, when Nintendo kind of stopped sending them stuff, when they got out of the rental business, they didn't have PlayStation. So I never really got to play PlayStation much at all, except visiting friends, stuff like that. So it's been fun exploring the library. And the Mister, for me at least, is a great way to do it. But then the ODE for the X Station is great too. I like to get a second Mister so I can have one hooked up to my CRT TV all the time, because I use this here for streaming and random stuff. It'd be great to have a separate one that's dedicated to the other one. Yes, Zuma Beach it is. Another one. This is a cool game. That arcade feel to it.
Find Zeno and dismantle his drug operation. Hold your fire! Those are taxpayers, X1 Alpha!
Whoops. Sorry.
Ah, LAPD's new meter maid.
Ooh, looks like a bad accident up ahead. Now you staying on the freeway.
Oh. Cool music too. I'm like driving tank now. Hello? Oh, I like the concussion gun. Like a real gun. Oh, that's good. It's semi-effective. That's true. PC exclusive games? I mean, there's gratuity camera for... Jeez Louise. I mean, there's definitely games that were never released on console. I mean, that's pretty rare now anymore, because consoles just do, you know, so much money in it, but I'm trying to think. I mean, you had some, like, RTS games. There's plenty of those from back in the day. I mean, you had a lot of DOS games, stuff like that, from that era that were quote-unquote exclusive and never came out on... yeah, exactly. There's some RTS titles, though, because, I mean, you had Command & Conquer 3, for example, was on 360.
Intruder alert. Release attack drone.
Played horribly, but it was on there. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to go in here.
Xeno's front gate is electronically sealed shut.
I will unshut it. It's got a little, Desert Strike, Jungle Strike vibe to it as well, I think. I don't say vain, yes, but a little more arcadey. Why am I in my car right now, anyway? I don't want the Kraken camo. Let me get in here. Yeah. So yeah, there's plenty of games like that, I think, that that match what you're asking there. I love the isometric viewpoint. I'm terrible at the game, but I love the look of it and everything. Played it on the Super Nintendo mostly.
Find a way through the front gate.
It's weird to say. More of those flying jerks coming in. Okay, why am I not a walker anymore?
I read a power source nearby. Might be connected to the front gate.
Supposed to be in here? This feels like it's bad. Am I soft locked now? There's no jump button. Alright. Thanks for stopping by, Pixel. That is a really good card. Look forward to covering it at some point. As we do this now, we've been playing games, but like, you know, we haven't really felt that the Banshee has not kept up, if you will. There's some, I mean, Unreal Tournament's probably the worst one, but if you look past that, all the other games we've tried have been really solid, so this is a really good 1998 video card. Now, you're my ultimate vary, if you didn't have the overclocked one here, but I don't know if I'm soft locked now. I can't do anything. Controller. Jump, action key, change target. No, I mean, no one would do that, because the PC has always been kind of like an open platform in that sense, right? Because it was, think back to the original PC, you had the IBM standard came about, right? You had your Tandy, which was kind of like its own standard, and you had like the Amiga or Commodore stuff, and you know, there were lots of ones like that were unique in their sense. Games were Tandy enhanced, or, you know, they were exclusive to the Amiga or whatever. But once the PC platform opened up in itself, the definition of a PC is so broad that I don't think anyone's ever said, like, you know, this is not a standard that's, like, locked down. There's no need to say only on PC, because that benefits no one. It would be like saying today only on Steam, like, exclusive like that, maybe. But as far as, like, PC as a platform, I don't think we've ever had that. If you're thinking of it, like, you would see on, like, only on N64, only on PlayStation, only on whatever. So... get me out of here. I think I'm making progress. I'm just gonna get a headache from my movement here now. Ah. And what's happening now, I think that's really fascinating, is that we're seeing console or PC ports out of console-exclusive games. Like they just announced that Spider-Man will come out on PC, and they've released God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, wait, oh, I managed to clip up there. Can I do that again? Can I avoid reloading this? I apologize for all the shaking. Yeah, it's true. They are basically consoles now. Yeah, it's true. I think that you're not supposed to fall down here, and if you do, you're probably supposed to die, because I don't think this is supposed to happen. Well, this is fun as we shake our way through the game here. Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many updates and stuff like that for mods and... Hey!
That's a heavy weapon power-up.
Let's not go back in there. Oh, Railgun activated. One hit. So...
Power failure to the main gate. Lock system disabled.
You
Well-
pop the lid off that can. Full speed ahead.
Nah. Never give up. Never surrender. Here's Johnny.
Intruder in compound.
I count 4 power sources emanating from the power grid.
The mortar actually exists in 3D space because I tried to launch it there and it actually hit the thing. It blocked.
That's a gun weapon power-up.
Ooh. Thank you for telling me. Ugh. Louis. Well, that looks promising. Something I can break. It's something I have to break. There's some games like this where you just destroy everything, and it's you know, it's fun. It's don't think too much about it. Blow everything up. Mortars, okay. There's actually a waypoint system here. It looks like we have a little arrow there. I could try and follow that, I suppose. Yeah, the more I play with, you know, with this computer here now, again, P2 is just matches this very well, but it is a great combo, I think. And I think again, it feels like the Banshee gets overlooked a lot. Oh yeah, IGI. I'm going in. I used to play that with a friend a lot. We just take turns to see who can get into the base. So it's a pretty wide open game for being, break that there. Hello. Yeah, it's a fascinating game that has such a wide open, like, it feels like the precursor to kind of like Far Cry, in the sense that here's a thing and you can just kind of go in and do whatever you need to accomplish your objective, and that was not super common for that era, it feels like. I had to get into... I guess I'll switch over there. We'll try this a little bit longer, and we could try another game to finish out the night here, but yeah, I'm a fan of the Banshee. It's a cool card. So how do I get into that button there? A map. Feels that's where I want to go, but I can't. The ramp up here. There's no way up in there, and it seems like that's the way down. The puzzle segments here. Okay, here. Yeah, that's a problem too, and it's like, it's not worth that. It just isn't. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a cool card, but it's not worth that much. It's just, it says 3 effects on it, and bam, your respective pays through the nose. And that's unfortunate, because I wish more people have access to those kind of cards and that kind of stuff, but that's what frustrates me with the retro selling to retro, because we're basically just feeding off each other, right? It's one thing, I don't know, there's no quote-unquote general populace that's buying this retro stuff, it's just collectors. Yep, that's right. They mean you're selling your Voodoo 4 Super? Well, buddy discount, right? It's funny because I ran into the guy I bought the Voodoo 5 from. Well, here we go. There's an entrance here.
It's a trap.
Ow. Yep, looks like a very effective trap to me. Can I not get up here? No? Oh. Cannot get out now? Okay. Supposed to be in here? Oh, these things anyway. Just take a lot of damage when they hit me, I guess. Am I in a half pipe, or... the gentleman I bought the Voodoo 5 from at that convention was there again. He did say... He didn't find me until the very end, unfortunately, but he did say he still had the Voodoo 4 in his closet. He was going to sell it, but he still had it, so... Maybe next time I see him, I will buy the Voodoo 4 off him. He had a box for that as well, so that would be cool to have that, but... I don't know where to do, or where to go, or... It's a little loud, isn't it? Turn on that hum. Ouch. Literally not letting me leave. I think I can blow up here. Yeah, there we go. I can probably... I see. Nothing to lock onto. There we go. There we go. Huzzah! Can I get up here now? Slide around the half pipe. Ah, come on. Yeah, that's true. You get the thing with small countries too, right? Or I shouldn't say small countries, but America has, of course, a large supply of parts here. There's no denying that. For retro collecting, America's the place to be, it feels like. I'm literally trying to half-pipe this, but no luck. Guess I can leave now. But I am pretty hurt. I feel like I should be able to go up there. Like I have to somehow. Field recharge will be useful now, but I do not have one. There's a whole bunch of dudes up there, so they're probably expecting me to come up here somehow. How? The morph ball half-pipe thing you do in Metroid Prime here. So close. Take a mortar. Jeez Louise. Is there a bridge? Because, I mean, I see the bridge, but I don't see a way to get up to the bridge. Oh, just, I need to go way back, it looks like. Okay. Follow the waypoint. I should probably do that. I blew up what I came to blow up. Those things look like they're auto-spawning. Don't need that camera. This then. Map. What's an inside? Complicated. Blew up all those. Let's see, is there... Because there's no way in there, though. How are they expecting me to get through here? There's a yellow dot there. Assume it's got to be inside the compound, right? And there's no way besides in here. Stuck in the geometry again. Like that path there is something you get to later. Just to get to that spot there. Whee! I could have seen playing this game as a kid. Just kind of keep wanting to progress and figure out what all the secrets are and everything. Definitely. I'm a little confused why I'm a flying dude now. I feel like I need to... There's a ladder here. Can I see the ladder? No. Still feels like I should be able to get up in there somehow. I don't see any way to get up on the scaffolding from the outside. It's just a ramp inside there. You're very silly. Make sure you stop by next time, too, and give me sassy commentary on my gaming. See you later, Suka. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, we're going to have to call it on this one here. Kind of want to check out one last game, which is similar, but a direct 3D game, which I think the... I can't get up right now. We'll do that. I think the game that everyone associated with just benchmarking. Alright, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Have fun at work. I'm going to work in like 7.5, 8 hours, so. Right, a way to save here. It's just a board game, I think. Alright. Little board game. You're going to quit. It's got a little Windows 95 vibe to it there on everything. We have other games in here too, but I could show maybe real quick just how Half-Life runs on this. We won't play Half-Life, really, since it's Half-Life, everyone knows. I almost bumped the video card again here. But I want to just show real quick what it looks like. With 800 by 600. It's basically a Voodoo 2 at this point, but lacking that second TMU, of course, like we talked about earlier. I won't play it as long, but I just want to show real quick what the performance looks like. Now, I haven't played far enough to get into a shootout or anything, so this is the beginning, but it plays wonderfully well. Now, especially with thinking about, you know, if we play this on a Voodoo 2, this game is fully playable right? So this is 640 by 480, I believe. No, actually 800 by 600 right now. But, I mean, plays is fine. This would have been a more than acceptable way of playing Half-Life, I think. I'm really curious. I kind of want to mess with the machine with the TNT. Because I could have sworn that's what I had. But I just don't remember. It's weird for me. I have like this dark spot in my brain from that gaming era. Because I had a P3500, but I don't know what I had in it. Because I had a P2300. And I don't remember what was in that either. But I'm pretty sure my brother went to like a trade show. And he actually bought a TNT for me. I'm fairly certain.
Bunch of messages for you,
My God, what are you doing?
Interactivity!
You trying to get me into trouble?
Yes. Yes, I am. Whoop, 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 whoop. Pudding.
Freeman?
3D deceleration. Talk about the S3 graphics. One thing as I was looking at the different, like, comparison...
Ah, it's good to see you.
Cards. Got the hazard suit. Activated. Yeah, I think the TNT matched the Voodoo, because the TNT was made to combat the Voodoo directly, I think. And especially having Glide. And then you get to, you know, TNT 2, and then it started taking over, and TNT 2 Ultra is a really good one, too. Another one I hopefully plan to cover at some point, or build a machine rather. Look at all this interactivity. Yeah. Just generic. Yeah, I think either mouse is not sensitive enough, or just my horrible ball mouse that I'm using for this. This is not very working. I have a look at a different KVM that supports a scroll wheel, because that's been the problem for me. That
Right on through, sir. Looks like you're in the barrel today.
Greetings.
I think he might be using these CD audio now from the Turok 2. Yeah, the mouse movement is definitely very jerky, so... But I have a TNT2 Ultra, so... It makes it very ominous using the Turok soundtrack for this. Very ominous. I'm in a Bruckheimer movie.
Hello, Gordon Freeman. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I think it's just, I have the ISO for Turok 2 still mounted, so... Don't do it, Freeman! Can't you hear the music? Play something bad's about to happen. It's like, Freeman's on a mission, he's gonna do this. I'm not sure if you guys saw on Twitter, I guess LGR bought like a cart, and then someone took that, he's like walking past the camera, waving. And someone took that and cut it and put it into the, inserting the anomalous material in here, just walking. That was just picture perfect.
The administrator is very concerned
That changes the mood of this whole scene to like this terrifying thing. I mean, it is, but that's funny. I've always seen this happen too in Glide, when you go back in here in any of the Half-Life based games, be that Half-Life or Counter-Strike or whatever, the menus go super sluggish. I'm not sure what that is. Like I think the animation with expanding it up doesn't play well. I'm not sure. But yeah, that music works pretty well. It was pretty horribly ominous there. We will unmount that. But one game I'd like to try quick, that I have played a little bit, we'll do that for the last one, is a... or actually, let's do a quick... We'll do a Quake 2 benchmark real quick, too. No, you don't need a helmet, you're fine. That's true, they go into like a reactor without a helmet. So we'll run a quick Quake 2 benchmark too, just for good measure. Then we'll play a little bit Expendable. The reason I say Expendable is because it is a game that, and this plays, of course, really well. Let's see, it is time demo 1, map demo 1.dm2. See what we get. Go, Quake guy! Always fun. Hope no one was sleeping, because we're awake now. Yeah, so 53.1 FPS at 800 by 600. So that's what you're expecting, which is, you know, you're talking Voodoo 2 level, right? Pretty much exactly. I don't think you get much. I mean, you probably have a little faster performance. I'm not sure if this game... let's see, I think it says about TMU up top here when it's creating the connection. Color 16-bit, DL version 1.1. Texture, vertex array not found. Multi-texture not found. So, yeah, whatever. But yeah. Yeah. That's true. It is. Yeah, that would be a bad time. But it gives you an idea here on the performance, because we're not far off on Voodoo 2 performance you would get on a P2 like this. And I have a feeling you get a little faster performance here because of that faster clock than the Voodoo 2 has, but it's not like this night and day difference versus when you get to, you know, Voodoo 3 or faster, then of course it makes a big difference, but we did one benchmark. Let's play a few minutes of Expendable and then we'll call it, because this is a direct 3D title. Oh, that's fine. I think I need to mount. No one look at this, it's fine. This is a game that uses direct 3D and also RL 3D, so it is not glide at all, but it plays really well on here. I think this is the benchmark title, right? I think everyone uses this for comparison because it looks really good. It's a well-playing game. I won't do all the stuff now, but it plays well. It's a fun arcade shooter, and the Banshee handles it great. But this is a game that's not super hard to run. I think you can probably have a good time on virtually any piece of hardware for this game. But I think everyone who does benchmarking for testing of games from the late 90s or computers from the late 90s, they pretty much throw in Expendable. Because there's so many particle effects and everything, and I think it's on PS1 as well. I'm pretty sure it is, because I think I'd grabbed the ISO for it for the Mister, so... That's this, you know, huge amount of particle effects, and let's make sure the volume is right. There we go. So this is, I don't think, a 60 FPS walk all the time. Probably not, but especially with as much as going on here. That's a neat game. I found myself enjoying it, and I mean, it's already looking like that LAPD game quite a bit, right? So we're running with all the settings cranked, I think, at 800 by 600. It doesn't seem to have, you know, many crazy slowdowns. Incoming! Oh no! There, definitely slow down, but this game plays really well, and it also shows you again that, yes, glide is of course preferred, but here we're playing on a direct 3D game. Now, of course, I mean, it's been patched and whatever, so... But this is a great experience. I mean... I probably would have liked this game a lot if I'd have known about it when I was younger. I never heard about it until I started seeing benchmarks, and a lot of people use this for testing. Because it is so colorful, there's a lot of stuff going on, and a good way to test direct 3D games. Oh, there's some texture problems, though, because you can see these textures here are appearing as I'm walking over them. Gun. There we go. But it's a fun little top-down shooter. This would have been, you know, perfect for twin stick, of course, but we almost got squished there. You can also see quite a bit of dithering going on the transparent effect. You see the dithering. It's hard to see probably in the stream, but it's definitely apparent on CRT. They did? Because, I mean, unless I'm mistaken, this game is not Glide at all. It is Direct 3D, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I mean, of course, the Voodoo 2 and 3 and the Banshee can run Direct 3D mode, so, like, it has to be Glide. Can I go here? Yes, I can. Secret. Thank you. Got the missiles. Alright. Cool music, cool action. I like this game quite a bit. I haven't played it that much, but I'd like to play it some more. Fantastic experience on this card, though. So yeah, that's the challenge I find with, especially covering some of these kind of cards, is like it's so hard to get them now, so unless you're lucky or get one really cheap, it's hard to like always recommend a card because, you know, it might be just stupid expensive. Like, I love the Voodoo 3, but I'm not for like, you know, $250, $300. Same thing with the Banshee. It's like it's not worth that. Maybe. I mean, Direct 3D just exploded, right? But it was pretty basic around that era. OpenGL was probably bigger, but that's why Glide was so attractive, I think, because Glide just, you know, worked. And so many games supported it. It was a great API to support, so. But, I mean, Microsoft pushed really hard on Direct 3 and DirectX, of course, so that became, you know, the standard. There we go. See a little pretty severe slowdown now, but still pretty fun. Go here. Okay, I'm not sure what other systems or consoles this is on. I know for sure PlayStation 1, so. Feels like it's a Dreamcast. I guess Vulkan, right, is much more close to the hardware, for example. That's why it's so much faster. That's the idea. It makes sense. Like, you know, trying to go back to where we were. A lot of explodey bits here. If I missed something. Because, I mean, that's the thing. You get a lot of stuff in the way. It runs slower. This makes sense. I know, like, for example, you look at, like, Doom and Doom Eternal and Vulkan, and it's like, that's, like, impossibly optimized almost. Like, how is this running so well on often pretty basic hardware? Nothing else here? Yeah, I'm fascinated to hear that, too. I'm curious to see where it goes, because it was only, like, one piece of it, right? It's not like they're going, here's the drivers open source yet. But it's a great step for them to take. Oh my goodness, that's slow. You see there a lot of dithering going on there to get the transparency. And it's a great step for NVIDIA to take. I'm just curious to see where it goes. Open standards benefit everyone. And they've, of course, been very proprietary with their, like, for example, their G-Sync and that stuff, like, where AMD is trying to support open solutions. Their AMD FSR and all that stuff. I find it really hard to find out which way my character's pointing here. Bluey. Blue key card. Of course there's a key card. Points. And a cake. There was a cake. Yeah, that's the thing too. And a video card can fall on this, or rise to the top on its drivers. We saw that many times. Like, and I think something we forget as retro enthusiasts now is that you go back to a card at launch, right? Drivers may have been pretty bad. Like, there was a lot of problems with AMD drivers back in the day and Radeon drivers, but now we had the benefit of being able to go to the most stable one, the tested one, and that goes a long way in stability and compatibility versus when you're back in the trenches, right? And that's a factor we don't really always think about, because I mean, I remember some cards that were just really unstable until good driver support came out, and then it was usable, right? So. Hard drive spinning like crazy. But it's a cool game. Expendable is really fun. I do recommend playing it still. It still holds up. It's a fun one, just kind of romp around and blow everything up, like many of these games are. But we're probably going to call it after this loading is done here. But as a reminder, then we are playing on the yeah, that's true. ATI they had problems back in the day. It was just the drivers were just not there, at least initially. But yeah, for those not remembering, we are playing on this card tonight. Then the enhanced Banshee card from Gigabyte. So but we're going to end it on that. I think that's good solid 3+ hour stream there. I'll figure out another GPU for next week. I mean, I'm not sure if I'll do every single week. We'll see. It'll be fun, and I think we might do a special stream again this year. We'll see. And I'm gonna try and work on my actual GPU June video itself too. But yeah, I'm really happy about this card, and I'm looking forward to building a machine around it that will house it permanently, which will probably be a K62 super socket build. So, but yeah, it's a fun card, and if you happen to get a Banshee, don't turn up your nose at it because it's the redhead stepchild of the Voodoo series. It's a fantastic card, really good for 1998, and a lot of fun to be had. Real like the period accurate stuff. So, all right, thanks so much everyone for joining in, donating, and hanging out and chatting and all that good stuff. So, oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember watching that. That was pretty funny. Thanks again for the donation, Revenant. I appreciate it. Maybe one of these days I'll get pushed too far on that computer and buy it and risk it all. Who knows? All right. Thanks everyone for stopping by. I will hopefully see you guys next stream. And have a good one. Have a good week. Good weekend. And all that good stuff. Stay retro. Go do GPU stuff. Good night.